Hey you, come, gather around the campfire, and welcome to the party. This is Party Chat, a JRPG podcast. We talk about everything that we love in the world of JRPGs and other Eastern titles. I am one of your hosts, Cameron Hawkins, and with me, as always, is my party partner, Kevin Kenson. Kevin, how you doing?
Doing well today. Did we use that exact intro in our first episode? A random thought was like, did we open right away with like my party partner as always, and it's like we're 2 minutes into our very first episode. I mean that counts as always, I guess, but I've got tired brain right now.
Always
I'm just going
was
places.
in there. I have to listen back. But outside of that, I'm pretty sure it's been the same since
Oh
the
yeah,
beginning.
everything else. It was just the as always that my brain decided to fixate on suddenly.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's gonna be a toasty brain episode, people. We're both on relatively little sleep. Just busted out a video on the state of play.
It is
the evening time.
9:30 p.m. right now.
Starting.
Yep, and we're starting. So if things seem a little low energy as the podcast goes along, I hope you give us some grace. That's all I can say. But yeah, what's been going on? Man, Overwatch is back, baby. I know this is a JRPG podcast, but I am so happy with all the changes that they made to Overwatch. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play games this week, but when I can, I'm like, oh, what if I just play a few games of Overwatch? And man, I think it's back. Like for the mainstream.
Right.
I've always loved it, but
well, it was breaking all kinds of records for Steam specifically, just because for a while Overwatch, didn't exist on Steam.
Yeah.
So now it's hitting like its newest peak of all time from everyone coming back to check out like the. What would you consider this? A relaunch? A reboot?
I would say it's a soft reboot because they're going back to season 1, right? They
dropped the 2.
They dropped the 2. They completely changed the menus. When you're on the home page, 5 new heroes, which is wild considering them mentioning how long it takes them to make a single hero. That's really surprising. And it really just seems like that this is they're putting all their eggs into this basket. Like if Overwatch doesn't like really stick around after something like this, then maybe people have just moved on, unfortunately. As we saw like this week, again, not JRPG related, but live service multiplayer games are
going through it.
It really, I think we've been on the same page for a while that like y'all are wasting your time. Like if you're trying to make a brand new live action multiplayer game, unless you are a household name, you're wasting your time.
It's very difficult. Yeah. And I think part of the problem too, like not to get too deep into this, but like it's both how much competition you have to go against, but then also the relative lack of like support we're seeing for like trying to stick it through. Like it seems like the plan consistently is, oh well, we just have to be immediately successful and lucrative in the first week. The main context for this being the fact that both Highguard and 2XKO, very different live service games. We got a fighter and whatever you want to call it, it's a hero shooter, but with its own kind of different win conditions. Both of them, like 2 weeks into a full release, went, we're gonna have to downsize some people, and yep, we're gonna continue to support the game, but not with the staff we had before, and that's just not a great sign.
Yeah.
And it just makes you wonder what the expectation was going into that launch,
Yeah, and with a company like Riot, I think that's just like in general, it's shitty.
Yeah.
A company like Riot pulling something like that, I think is borderline it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable that like you guys to be clear, like 2XKO, they really stretched that development window. Like they definitely announced it too early. They shouldn't have been like promoting it really in any way until it was like close to like launching. But the fact that like Riot is as big of a company as it is, it's just so fucked up. It's so fucked up what they're doing.
I always flash back to there was when they announced that they were like no longer doing all their, because they had, I forget what they called it, but they had that program where they were doing collaborations with different devs to make like smaller scale single player games featuring their universe, and they had a couple of those projects going on back to back, and they basically made a whole announcement of like, hey, we're not doing that anymore, you know, we're focusing on our main tentpole releases, that stuff's over, you know, no budget, whatever. And then like a month after, they have a paid for slot at like SGF in the Game Awards that was super long, and it's like, this cost how many of those smaller projects would this have funded?
Yeah.
to promote that you're doing like a tournament season for League of Legends. Like, great.
Yeah,
cool.
Actually, really great segue to something related to JRPGs that we could talk about. The Pokemon Super Bowl commercial. The Pokemon Super Bowl commercial had a higher budget than the entirety of Pokemon ZA.
Yeah.
That's crazy!
Because it's a Super Bowl ad. Like that.
I know, but it's crazy!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's welcome to how advertising is. I mean, there's a lot of games where the advertising budget is larger than everything else, because like that is ultimately the thing that is going to make sure people see your thing and possibly buy it and get into it. Like, not in the indie space necessarily, but a lot of AAA stuff, like the funding goes into advertising. Like we've heard how much it costs to show up at stuff like TGAs and such, unless Jeff decides that he likes you and just wants to add it because he's excited for it. Yeah, advertising's crazy. And I mean, I think for Pokemon, you do have to put it in the context a little bit of like, it's not like they're advertising one game, they're advertising Pokemon, like all of Pokemon, right? Get into the card game, get into, like, especially that particular commercial where a lot of the goal is like, hey, we're this old now. You probably played us at some point. Do you have a favorite Pokemon? Like, come on back. Come on.
Yeah, and it's because it was funny because I mentioned it to my roommate, because he doesn't care about sports, but he loves Pokemon. Like, Pokemon is like his favorite IP. And he was talking about, and I was trying to tell him, because he was watching the State of Play after I already watched it, and he was seeing the Beast of Reincarnation stuff, and he was just like, why can't Game Freak do this with Pokemon? And I'm just like, dog, you know that's because the Pokemon company doesn't give them the money to do that, right? Like, that's... And
or the schedule.
Yeah, like I was like me and my roommate, my other roommate, we both had to tell him like, dog, this has nothing to do with Game Freak. It's 100% on the Pokemon company.
Yeah, no, that is a Pokemon company. Like, that is the rigid schedule of like how tight those development cycles are. Which, I mean, this one is longer. You know, they finally added an extra year for this gen, so
yeah,
you know, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's definitely not... I've absolutely seen that comparison where it's like, man, like, did they just not care about Pokemon anymore? It's like, it has nothing to do with their interest in making Pokemon. Like, maybe there are some people who are a little burnt out on that franchise or whatever, but that's not the issue. The issue is, as you said, like, budget and a lot of time to, like, make the things.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, so we have, similar to last week, we have basically news, all episode. We got some general news stories, and then we have the State of Play to go over that happened today. But first, we're going to get into some housekeeping. If you've been enjoying the show, please go to your podcast service of choice, give us a 5-star review. It really helps us out, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@partychatjrpgpod. Really helps us out. We do have a $5 subscription on both YouTube membership as well as Patreon that gives you a bonus episode, as well as access to Campfire Catalog, which is our book club podcast. And our Discord is open now, so Discord link is in the description of the episode if you want to join and chill. We've had a lot of people come in. It's been really dope getting to meet new people, meet new folks, just asking them like, how'd you come across the podcast? And things like that, and getting a lot of different answers. So really great stuff. Kevin and I have rolled credits on Romeo is a Dead Man, the latest game by Grasshopper Manufacturer, and the creative mind of Suda51. We do have a review up on YouTube and podcast services for y'all to listen to or check out whenever you have the time to do so. Now, or lastly, go to youtube.com/Kevin Kenson. Hit the subscribe button over there. Now, we're going to get into the news for this week. I think the lead news story that I want to talk about is one because that I want to talk about specifically because I can debunk it. So earlier this week, there were rumors that came up regarding a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake. It was supposed to be called Kingdom Hearts Relux. This was a rumor by some insider named Extras Ones. I've never heard this guy before, like compared to like Nate the Hate. I don't know if you've heard of this guy before, Kevin.
Nope.
Okay. I don't know if he's specifically a Kingdom Hearts guy or like whatever, but never heard of him personally. And basically, the main details regarding the remake is that it's going to have new graphics. Deep Jungle was going to be replaced with a Jungle Book world because Disney doesn't have the rights to Tarzan anymore. More additional content, playable Riku segments, and all that jazz. And it was, set to have a early 2027 release date. I can confirm by my own personal sources that this is not real. This is not real. Y'all can remove it from your mind. It ain't happening. And honestly, like, when I heard this, I was like, I don't want this. Not even because Kingdom Hearts 4 exists. I'm like, I don't want this. I've said before that, like, I only have a few more times of playing Kingdom Hearts 1 in me. Like, the age is starting to show a bit.
But that's why a remake would make it so much better, Cam.
Yeah, but not this kind of remake. Not this kind of remake. Not when not when you can't make it what it actually originally was.
Right.
And kind of recanonizing some stuff with again, I love my boy Riku. I don't want playable Riku segments in Kingdom Hearts 1 because it doesn't make sense. And so yeah, just I'm not gonna obviously share my sources, but so if you think this is just a trust me bro or me trying to get brownie points, that's not what this is. I'm sure those that listen to the podcast regularly know that I'm not that kind of person. If not, so in general, take the information as you will, but I'm just telling you that this is not real. So
okay, but what about Fortnite though?
Yeah, apparently there's a Fortnite insider that said that Kingdom Hearts collab is in development. I could not get an answer on that one. So there it is.
That's an interesting one because you probably have a better knowledge of this than I do. Who actually is that Disney alone can just say yes, or does there need to be someone from Square Enix also give who's involved in the approval process for using those characters?
So Kingdom Hearts IP is owned by Disney. The IP is owned by Disney. It's licensed out to Square Enix. That being said, Disney always runs by things to Nomura. And Nomura kind of from what I've heard, obviously we don't know the facts. We don't know in writing what the situation is, but the most information that has come out that we can, ascertain, it's the hierarchy, the level of hierarchy is Disney owns Kingdom Hearts IP, but Nomura has to approve basically anything that's done with the IP. To when it comes to these type of collaborations.
Disney's the one making decisions, but they still need Nomura to give the thumbs up. Hey, we're planning on doing this deal. That's not.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be mad about that, right? Cool.
Yeah.
We're giving Sora a gun. Great.
Yeah, because we even heard that when it came to Smash, right, where Nomura said that Disney came to him saying hey, this is a really cool opportunity. We should really do this, and talk to Nomura about it. And so that's basically, as far as we know, how things normally go. Merchandise and things like that, irrelevant. I don't think Nomura has any say in that. But when it comes to anything like video game related, it goes through Nomura. So there's that. Kevin, do you have any thoughts on this debunked rumor of Kingdom Hearts remake?
I mean, like on the on the remake stuff, like you know, especially with how remake happy Square Enix is, and well, remake remaster happy they are, like it kind of sounds like a thing that could happen, sure. But also because that game is so accessible everywhere, it's like, why? Like most of the remake remaster stuff that Square's been doing is either like a heavy re-envisioning, like we've seen with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or even with like whichever Saga game, Romancing Saga 2, like that one did some like pretty big changes.
Yeah.
So it's like they either do that or they're just updating stuff so that, you know, it hasn't been available since the PS2 and here it is now on modern systems. And so Kingdom Hearts just feels like a really weird space for that, because unless the goal were to do some kind of very heavy redo, and then that would open up all kinds of questions of like, what does that mean for touching the other games over time? It's one of those things where I feel like if you just hear the sentence Kingdom Hearts remake, you're like, oh, sure, Square could do that. But the more I think about it, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what the goal for that one would be versus a lot of the other projects they've done. Other than Kingdom Hearts remake sounds like a hell of a thing that would make money.
Yeah.
As for like Fortnite stuff, you know, whether or not that's real, I mean, Fortnite features in general are just silly to me at this point. I do wonder how depictions would work out for some things, because one of the things you run into with Fortnite is everyone has roughly the same body because hitboxes need to be maintained. So it's like, what does Sora look like in Fortnite form, or any of the given? Because that's even the thing with like, that's why Peter Griffin is randomly like buff, because they didn't want to make him like that larger model that would now have to have like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird thing where I'm like, what does that actually look like? And it's just feels weird to me, but that's true of almost every Fortnite collab, so it's the guy from Fortnite. It'd be hilarious if it was like Donald or something. It's not gonna be.
No,
it would absolutely be like specifically
the
Kingdom Hearts. It'd be
characters,
like, it'd be like, yeah, Sora, Riku, Kairi.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah. Which I would prefer, you know, like I would rather have that.
Sure.
But that being said, you know, I do want to kind of revert back a little bit and just say, like, you know, as far as I know, there is no Kingdom Hearts remake at all, but definitely not, you know, at the very, very least, not what this rumor
that was
is detailing. Yeah.
Right.
So, again, take it for what you will, but, yeah. So, there's that. There may not, who knows, be getting a Resident Evil 5 remake sooner than we thought. This is a little bit of a weird story where, you know, people noticed an ESRB listing for Resident Evil 5 that was like different from previous ESRB ratings, but then like and it was specifically for the Xbox Series consoles. But as more like kind of information got looked into it, they also found one for Resident Evil 6, Revelations, and Revelations 2. So now people are starting to kind of think that there's going to be some sort of re-release on Xbox Series consoles for these 4 games. I don't know if that's like, you know, we don't know for certain, and you know, we're at the point right now where the next remake is either going to be Code Veronica or RE5, right? And so it's just like, hey, are you guys really going to do this if the game is, you know, a remake of 5 is what, 5 to 6 years out? Like, assuming that they do Code Veronica first,
right,
and then do 5, like.
Yeah, it depends on how much they want it. Like, is the plan to do remakes all the way through until we hit 7? Like, what is the actual cutoff point internally of, like, when have they done enough, right? Because initially, the logic was like, oh, they're going to remake all the fixed camera angle games, right? Like, makes sense. Redo 2, redo 3, maybe Code Veronica, maybe 0, cool. But then 4 happened, and that really opens the door to being like, so where are we stopping, if at all, right? Like, did you just remake 4 because it's 4 and it's got that legacy and name? Or is your intent to like just kind of keep piling through and we hit that point? Especially because 5 and 6 are such different games. 6 especially. Those ones really leaned so much more into being like co-op action games, and really divested themselves of a lot of the survival horror trappings. Like 4 was kind of the midpoint where they got more actiony, but you still had to you had the suitcase, you had to worry about some of your stuff more. And you were still Leon on his own, effectively, and sometimes you have to protect someone else. And then 5 was, hey, we're adding co-op. And then 6 was just like, who cares about inventory? Just unload and straight up action game. So like the prospect of those being remade eventually is a very big question of like, what does that even look like? Like, how heavily do you redo those games to fall in line with what's kind of now been the more even tempo? A collection would make a lot of sense to me. It would make more sense to me, at least. I mean, maybe that's my own bias speaking of just not really caring for 5 and 6 to get remakes. But a collection where it's like, hey, here's all the later ones, 5, 6, Revelations, put them all together, get them for this price. Like, that would make more sense to me, but that might just be my own confirmation bias to speaking there. I absolutely, if it's just like, if I can pick the button of what's getting remade next, I swear to God, I hope it's Code Veronica instead of 5. But we'll see.
I think at the very, very least, we would get like Code Veronica and honestly a remake of the original. I think at this point, like, they could do it. It wouldn't be a super taxing remake to do as well. And I think people would want it. So I think that those two are like something that I think would make more sense before doing 5, because again, like you said, the co-op elements and things like that, you don't have to
it's just a
really
different game.
worry about that. Yeah. So we'll see. RGG head Yokoyama announced that Kiwami 3 will likely be the last in the Kiwami line. How are we feeling about this, Kevin? Because
first off,
let me say my piece first.
Sure. Let me say one quick thing. One very quick thing. Thank you for actually using that wording, because so many people have been quoting his article being like, he says it's done, no more Kiwamis, and it's like he used the word like, oh, I think we might be done. I don't know. Like, it was very non-committal. So like, thank you for wording it that way, at least.
Yeah, he said I will say exactly the quote. He said, quote, I think, this is via translation, of course.
Yes.
Quote, I think Yakuza Kiwami 3 will be the last one, and the Kiwami line will come to an end. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm responding to this in the scenario that he's taking this for real. For me, and I think we're a little bit on different pages here. Like, when it comes to specifically Yakuza 3, honestly, maybe Yakuza 4 as well. I hope that this is not true. I want them to go through to 5. I want them to do the rest, up to 4 and 5, because I think 3 desperately needed it. I think 5 desperately needs it as well for different reasons. And 4, I really like Yakuza 4, and it seems like that a lot of people are just very like, middling on it. Like, not that it's a bad game, but it just didn't really like stick out for them outside of the introduction of what's his face, Akiyama. Is that his name? Yeah, Akiyama. I loved Yakuza 4. Like, Yakuza 4 is one of my favorites of the Kiryu games at the very least. And I really would love to see that get a remake. But also, you just got 2 more, and it's just like, and especially because they're those type of kind of like Falcom, where they want to release like 2 games a year, at least.
Yeah.
Just like,
and
have
to be
it in
clear,
your back pocket, dude.
Yeah, and to be clear, the reason why you think get through at least 5 is because once you hit 6, that was when they first started doing Dragon Engine, and it's like that's at least
It's pretty
like
modern.
on par with what's now been the standard. I get
Yeah.
it, I get it.
Yeah. And so I really hope this isn't true, because I just really would love to see the rest of the game. Like, I can't go as far to say as like, oh, like three through five needs it more than 1 and 2 did. Like, that's not true. But like 3 and 5 could really use it. Like, and I think it would be very beneficial. So
Yeah. So here there's a lot of additional context that goes into this. So here's the thing, right? Like, in general, I think a lot of people thought that we were like just never going to get 3 because it's like, yeah, like 1 and 2 were PS2 games and like those were just considerably older. And even though like, 3, 4, and 5 certainly show their age, they got their remasters, they're playable on current stuff, and it's like, yeah, you can tell they're old, but like they're still at least somewhat relatively up to date compared to like trying to play the PS2 games. And 3 getting remade made people wonder if they were going to push all the way through like 4 and 5. Because again, they're all kind of the PS3 era. So it's like if you're going to do one of them, like, could you just go ahead and do the rest? 3 especially, I know people wanted to happen because of the mechanical changes. The 3 remastered was not a particular favorite for combat, which 4 and 5 have absolutely aged better in. Like, going from 3's combat to 4's is freaking night and day.
Yeah,
like,
I would make the argument that 4 has better combat than 5 and 0.
Sure,
I really do.
Yeah, we don't have time to get into that. They don't have time to get into that take.
Okay.
I will just say that, like, I think a lot of people were hoping for 3 and weren't necessarily assuming we were going to like have to get 4 and 5 as a result as well. I'm kind of like, honestly, I don't know how much I care at this point, especially because Kiwami 3 seemingly so far is a bit of a monkey's paw situation. I'm currently working through it myself to actually get some firsthand vibes about it because, I have my opinions in regards to the Kagawa casting and such. I will also clarify real quick right now, I'm playing it via a code that was gifted to me via Xbox, so I wasn't even sure if I was going to buy this game if I didn't get a code, because I was just like, I don't know if I want to pay for this right now. So, I'm going to get my thoughts together on that eventually. But if it does end up matching what my kind of general vibe is with a lot of the storyline direction lately, you might be happier if 4 and 5 were left untouched in that respect. Because at least the trade-off right now seems to be like, hey man, we're getting more fun gameplay, but oh boy, are we losing the stuff that made us actually like these games in the first place. And so, it's kind of a weird situation right now.
I'm curious if like how much of the backlash regarding Kiwami 3 is what's making them decide, okay, we're not going to do these anymore.
Well, and what's so funny about it too is that part of the backlash, not the casting thing, but just storyline changes, has to do specifically with characters that show up in 4. Like, Hamazaki is in 4 as well, and it's like, so you're gonna remake 3, recast Hamazaki's actor, possibly set up that you want to keep using him in the future, and then you're not gonna adapt 4. So anyone that plays through like whatever the updated current line versions of things is gonna get original Hamazaki for like one game real quick, and then back to whatever new timeline stuff is now being established with Kiwami 3. It's very bizarre. I don't know what Yokoyama's doing. I'm not sure Yokoyama knows what he's doing, but we'll see. It's a whole thing right now.
Yeah, I'm curious about it, and I'm also curious just like how much like it doesn't seem like there is any really, but I'm just curious how much like say Sega has with these kind of decisions.
I'm sure they have some. Like, I mean, I've heard rumor before about like influence in terms of like just general like series direction type stuff. So like, sure.
Yeah, I think series direction is like a little bit different than like project choices, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yes and no.
Okay. Square Enix has revealed game bonuses for The Adventures of Elliot for save data if you have save data from other Square Enix games. I'm just gonna read down this list here, but basically, if you've played any of the Team Asano games or like that general team that do the HD2D stuff, there's gonna be a bonus if you have a save for it.
Most importantly, various day life serves a purpose.
I have a reason to buy it physically now.
Do you?
I mean, I'll buy it anyway just because it's a Square Enix game and like we're gonna
Sure.
yeah, like I'm a collector.
Right. Yeah, sure.
So for Octopath Traveler 0, players will get the Sword Magicite Guidance of the Secret Flame. It increases sword damage dealt to enemies with 30% or lower vitality by 10%. Sure.
Yeah.
It's all sword magicites, to be clear.
Yeah, they're all just like if you haven't played the demo, Magicite is effectively accessories that you equip that like adjust how your stats work a little bit. They give you little bonuses here and there, and so all these save data bonuses are just different Magicites like boosting things in different ways.
Yep. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D remake, Sword Magicite critical hit increases sword critical hit rate by 6%. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD remaster, Brave increases sword damage dealt by 10%, uses a little more shield stamina when guarding. Various Day Life Expeditionary Wisdom reduces sword charge by 10%. And then Triangle Strategy Counter Stance increases sword damage dealt by 10% while shield stamina is 90% or greater. No mention of Live Alive or Octopath 1 or 2.
Interesting, yeah, because I do think Live Alive was a different team, but Octopath 1 and 2 is definitely like that Coruscant team, so that's interesting. Yeah,
maybe they're like maybe they're one trying to get people to buy their newer games and then like the other games that didn't sell as well as they'd like them to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I do like that. It's the actual Magicite itself has like fun little name references, like Counter Stance is like one of the main character's moves and Triangle Strategy. So it's like, oh, okay, like you got this from that, like neat little touches like that. Yeah.
So I got one more story here to like kind of delve into a little bit. And then we have the quickies for the week. So CyberConnect 2 has announced their 30th anniversary game project on for February 16th. So they're going to announce it next Monday. For those that don't know, because I had to look it up myself too, of like some of the
what
games.
Does CyberConnect do?
Well, so here's the thing: I knew that they were the original team working on the Final Fantasy VII remake project, but but outside of that, I was just like, oh, like what other things have they worked on?
Very funny. I didn't know that. I know everything else they've worked on. Did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was initially sent, given externally to them, and then Square Enix seemingly didn't like what they saw, and they're like, we're gonna take this in internally now.
Yeah, because so the main things that CyberConnect does, there's kind of two genres here. There's niche RPGs and anime fighters.
Yep.
Anime fighters, you just throw a name at the wall, they probably made it. Like Naruto, whatever extra vowels and syllables and nouns you want to throw out, yep, that they probably made that. I think they also did like Demon Slayer and like One Piece and just like anime fighters in general, they've been assigned.
No One Piece, but they did do Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Ah, yes.
The game that will not die.
Yeah. But in the niche RPG side of things, absolutely their kind of biggest earlier on like claim to fame is Dot Hack. That is like the classic. That is what they made.
I did know that. I just forgot. I did know that.
And then after that, Asura's Wrath, hell yeah. And then more recently,
give us a fucking port of that.
Yeah. And then more recently, Fuga Melodies of Steel, which I don't think that's what they're considering. This is an anniversary project.
Really great games.
Yes.
Apparently.
Oh no, very great games. I just don't think that that's what they're going to tap on the shoulder for. Like, hey, we're celebrating our big anniversary. Here's the title. The one big theory right now is Dot Hack. Not saying that's the right answer. We'll find out shortly. But a lot of people are thinking Dot Hack remake or some kind of Dot Hack celebration title is what would be happening here. We'll see. Honestly, Asura's Wrath would be a hell of a card to pull out of nowhere is like what they're doing. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so for quickies this week, Capcom has confirmed that that they will reveal a large scale expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds this summer. Um, Black Myth Zhonghui. I don't remember I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. They had a Chinese New Year trailer that dropped, kind of showing like a pretty like lengthy scene of just like this woman preparing food that kind of cut like I don't know if it's all a part of the game or if it was all that was all like one shot, like without a cut, but like it seemingly ties it directly into the game. And I kind of just wanted to like bring it up just to be like, Kevin, like, does this look like, like what are your thoughts on this? Like the visual upgrade, assuming this is all in engine, like that type of deal.
So that would have been great for me to watch before we started recording.
Well, I didn't. I assumed you watched it.
Nope, didn't even know that happened.
Well, we'll do a check-in next week, but there is a trailer and it like looks really good, like visually, and I'm curious. So, Grasshopper Manufacturer has promised a second game for 2026, as well as Romeo is a Dead Man getting ported to Switch 2 eventually.
Hell yeah.
Helldivers is getting a film starring Jason Momoa on November 10th, 2027. Sure. Sonic Racing Cross World Super Monkey Ball content drop is coming. It's out now. It's out now, guys. Utaware Rumono Zan 2 is releasing on PC February 25th. And I believe that is... Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, I'm glad I remembered myself. Neo 3 is confirmed to be a 6-month console exclusive to the PS5. This was confirmed via like a Neo 3 trailer or like commercial, and it had like the whole like text on the bottom being like, this is available exclusively until this date. So
that makes sense. Yeah. That feels like a series that would never turn into like a true single platform exclusive.
Yeah. So, and it has been an exclusive for however long now. So,
yeah.
And then lastly, Dino Crisis 1 and 2 are now available on Steam and this currently has a launch discount price of $5 each. So, very cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
We don't have anything. Do you have anything for what we've been playing this week, Kevin? Or
I mean, the only thing I could touch on really is that I did start up Kiwami 3. But
you're going to save your thoughts for later.
Yeah, and I'm not particularly far yet either way. Like, I'm not at the point where things are crazy different yet. Like, Kiryu's wearing a different shirt is about as big of a change so far. But yeah, I'll definitely want to talk more about that in the future. But I'm only a couple hours in, so we'll save that for another time.
Cool. Now, we're going to get into our topic of the show. Sony held a state of play today, and I want to go over our general thoughts first.
Sure.
Because I think it's a little bit different as per normal. Like, historically, I'm pretty low on state of plays. Like, I think that the bar to be like, oh, that was a great state of play is pretty low.
Right.
And so
I get it. Yeah, I generally agree.
Yeah. And this one was 60 minutes, or like more so like about, you said an hour and 15 in your video, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it ended up they when they announced it, they said 60 plus, and the runtime ended up being like, I think it wrapped up at like 312 or something. Like it got pretty far. Yeah.
Yeah, so very lengthy state of play. And, I would argue as to say that after the first half of that state of play, I was like, this is probably the best state of play we've ever had. Like, obviously, there's been state of plays where I'm very excited for one thing in particular, right? Where, like, they were, it's like, hey, we're going to, like, go in depth on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm like, great, incredible. But when it comes to just general broad scoping announcements, they absolutely killed it. I think this is like a really great, and I hope that this is kind of like, this is how they set the standard moving forward. I
mean, like, that'd be cool. Part of it is dependent on like what there is to announce at the time, but like,
Sure.
I get it.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts. I was like, this is really great.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty unanimous. Like, I think, whatever. If I really sat down and looked over every state of play ever, I might find, one or two that I personally like more because of XYZ specific games and my hyper fixations. But it's very safe to watch today's show and I'm come off as like, oh, this is probably the best one ever. Like, for numerous reasons. I think one of the biggest things, especially relative to the last couple years, there were first-party games, like quite a few. We've kind of been having a problem lately where so much of the good hype game reveals have been third party, and it's cool. Those are great games. Excited for them. But if you've already seen them at other presentations, if they're coming to other platforms, it just doesn't necessarily boost the like Sony specific meter very much. And so having them actually be like, hey, here's all these first party games. Some of them already have locked in release dates. Some of them we're announcing and are coming out this year. They've got like 5-6 exclusives like this year that were all talked about at that show. And that is like 3 times the number of exclusives we got in the last like 3 years. Like it's been like 1 to 2 games the last couple years. And having a year where it's finally like, here are games from our first party studios it's a good feeling. It's like, great, release things. We like that. But even like beyond the first party stuff, like awesome third party news, a couple indies showed up that had a really nice strong showing. Like always, you're not going to please everyone with every individual announcement. There's going to be stuff that kind of hits for some people and is a pass for others. But like, I think generally speaking, the runtime certainly helps. There was so much to talk about in general that like, it's hard to look at this one and not just go like, okay, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, totally agree. I wanna. We're gonna go over everything, but I want to start with I think what was the biggest surprise and arguably the best part of the whole state of play, which was the Konami section of the game of the presentation, because Konami has definitely over the past few years gotten a bit more active with the IPs that they own. They did the Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 collection. They did the Suikoden 1 and 2 remasters. But I think they made a statement today. I think they made a statement that they are back in a real way. They are making new games. They are making new IP. And they're really like putting more eggs back into their basket when it comes to the video game side of the industry, which of the industries that they work in or engaged in. And man, I really, really liked everything that I saw. There are obviously some asterisks to some things that we heard, but in general, like, it was a very big surprise, and everything that they showed looked cool. Even if it wasn't for me, I was like, this looks great. You know what I mean? So, Kevin, please talk to us about, tell us what Konami showed us.
Yeah, so real quick, just to also kind of give like a general, like my temperature on it. Because I agree, like overall looks great. I do think an important thing to point out with Konami is that they absolutely act primarily as an IP holder these days. Like, I don't know how much we can really push, like, Konami is internally like pushing out all this cool stuff. It's like, they're letting people use their IPs finally, and that's fine. Like, that's great. Hand your cool IPs to people that want to make cool shit that also might have already been making spiritual successors to your games anyways, and now they can just work on that franchise. And that's even one of the games that was revealed, basically. So there were 5 reveals total. This was near, like, just past the halfway point of the state of play. They kind of got through all their other announcements. They saved a lot of Sony first party for the very end, and so Konami was this nice big block before that. First announcement, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, which is only 2 games, but that's fine because it's kind of a crazy big deal what one of these games is. One of them is Peace Walker, which we've gotten ports and remasters of before, but that wasn't a part of the last remaster collection. So, cool to have that back for current platforms. And the big deal one, Metal Gear Solid 4. If you are not a Metal Gear head and you don't know why that's a big deal, this is a game that has been trapped on the PS3 always. Never got a PC port, never got put on an Xbox system, never got put in some other collection. It has eternally been just on the PS3, and that's it. So this is a game that people have been wanting freed of that system for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's finally happening. I'm sure there's a little bit of cautious optimism of hey, hopefully they did a good job porting and bringing it over. The last Master Collection did have some problems at launch that did get fixed over time. I don't know if there's still some specific things people are upset with, but I know a lot of the initial things that were very hair-raising got adjusted. But at least on the optimism side of things, it's yes, good. Finally, we can access this game again without dusting off the old PS3. Fantastic.
Now, question, because I may misremember here, but doesn't this collection also include Ghost Babel?
Yes, I mean Ghost Babel is a considerably smaller title that's just kind of by the way, this is also here. Even in the collection, the way they present it is they're these are the two games in the collection, and then bonus, that's also there, just so you know, it's in the settings. Yeah, to be honest, Ghost Babel is not one that I've played personally. So, I'll probably check it out as part of this. For those that don't know, Ghost Babel is a Metal Gear Solid entry that released on the Game Boy Color. Yep.
I believe did it release in the US? No, yeah, it did release in the US. It released in the US, and it is very well received from what I can see here. And it's supposed to be another timeline type story where it's similar to the original Metal Gear Solid, but it's not, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because I remember looking up this game a while ago. And so the fact that is also a part of the package, I think is really cool, because there's really no other way to play that as well.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to shout that out as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of the situations where it started development as a port of a pre-existing. It was meant to be we made a Game Boy Color version of Metal Gear Solid, and then along the lines of development, they're we're just making it its own thing now. And that's the alternate dimension thing. It's this was gonna just be Solid, but in Game Boy Color form. But never mind, it's just its own thing now. Yes. So
yeah. So just a small description, according to its Wikipedia, is that initially it was going to be a port, like you said, but instead it takes place in an alternative continuity set 7 years after the events of the original Metal Gear.
Yep.
So, very cool.
Cool stuff. Yeah. And then I'm not going to go in order of reveals. I think I'm just going to structure this a little differently. Other pre-existing IP stuff that showed up. I think the biggest surprise for a lot of folks is that we actually have a brand new Castlevania to celebrate that was revealed today. Kind of going back to what I was mentioning earlier about, Konami not necessarily making as much of their own stuff, but instead working in collaboration with people. This is being done with Evil Empire along with Motion Twin. It listed them as advising. I forget the exact wording right now, but it was assisting studio with something along the lines for that. Which people might recognize that name as the Dead Cells folks, which Dead Cells itself had a Castlevania crossover. So there's
shameless
some logic
plug.
here.
I gave it a 10 on IGN.com.
Specifically the Castlevania content or Dead Cells in general?
Yeah. Remember, Dead Cells had that big controversy the review over at IGN. No, I did not do that. I did the Return to Castlevania DLC and I gave it a 10. I when I played this game. Oh yeah, when I played it, I thought it was incredible. And Dead Cells is my favorite roguelike. I think that game just as a whole is a 10 out of 10. When I literally was thinking to myself, Konami should just let these guys make a Castlevania game, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep. Now, to be clear, this is not a roguelike like Dead Cells. They are making a like 2D Castlevania. Based on the little bit that we saw in the trailer, it looks like it's going to be Metroidvania, just because you see them like bring up a map for like a split second. But what exact full form that takes, we don't entirely know just yet. But absolutely awesome looking art style. So this one's being called Belmont's Curse, which I do think is a nod to some of the handheld ones like Belmont's Revenge. This is taking place in the same timeline as like Castlevania 3 and Curse of Darkness, but it's after those where you're playing as Trevor Belmont's daughter, which I think was the setup of one of the Game Boy ones. I can't remember off the top of my head right now which. But yeah, it's looking mighty shiny.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played any, like I played a bit of Castlevania. I've played like bits and pieces, but I haven't like gotten to play that series proper, and I really want to. It's like one of my like top franchises. I really just want to play through all the games that are like readily available. I just gotta like have the time to do it, and so I'm hoping that this year, maybe next year, I can like finally do that. And yeah, like I'm never gonna complain about a new Castlevania game.
Yeah. And then one last legacy IP. This is a game we already knew about, but we had not actually seen anything of until now. We got a look at Silent Hill Townfall. Give me a moment. I want to double check because I don't remember who's developing this one. Because they announced this back when they did that one big Silent Hill transmission where they were like, here's the different devs, each making their own projects.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, I know it's different dev. It's not Bloober Team.
Yeah, but nor is it.
While you're looking that up, I will say that yeah, that game looks cool. I'm not a Silent Hill guy. And really cool black protagonist. So very very cool to see. And it's what I think the most interesting thing about it is that the game is seemingly in first person. And so that's cool. And I really liked how they kind of teased the kind of reveal that it was a Silent Hill game, even though like you could kind of already tell by vibes, just the way that the trailer, it's just like there's like a draping over the sign. It's like it's a sign, so it's like, oh, Silent Hill, and then in the sign you can only see the S in the beginning, and so people think like, oh, it's going to say like Silent Hill, but it's like Saint Ambria or something like that. But yeah, and I don't know if that's like connected to the lore of Silent Hill.
No, I think that's just them doing their own fun play on. It's that kind of idea. I mean, similar to how Silent Hill F doesn't take place in Silent Hill. It's in a little town in Japan.
Because they talked about like how like Silent Hill is a phenomenon, not like a place, which I think everyone kind of had that vibe. So
yeah, I mean that's the direction they definitely took it after 3. Not that there weren't any other games that still featured Silent Hill, but like it certainly kind of changed a little bit because like 1 through 3 straight up you go to Silent Hill, like that is what the story is. And later on they began to do more of the kind of it's a metaphysical thing. But yeah, so this one again was announced a ways back when they did like the first Silent Hill transmission, announcing all those different projects. But again, we now see it in action. This is being developed by Screenburn, which is a British dev primarily known for Stories Untold and Observation. So I'm not familiar with those particular games myself, but I have heard of them before, Observation at least. I will say, just from the snippets we saw, did not grab me as quickly as like Silent Hill F did, but I really like the general momentum that they're having for the series right now. For the most part, the big releases at least have been pretty solid. Some of the other side projects they've been doing, like the interactive show and the free one they dropped randomly, not quite as good. But Silent Hill 2 Remake, great. Silent Hill F, fantastic. I would love for this to kind of keep that momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then we did have 2 other announcements that were Konami. But these are both, I think they're both new IP. One of them might just be one that I don't really know, like if there was some random game it's pulling from. But Darwin's Paradox?
Yeah, so it's not it is a new IP, but it's something that they revealed a long time ago that they finally like re-revealed.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so it was something I thought I saw this octopus before.
Yeah.
So this is like a 2D platformer, but like a stealth tactical platformer. So like you're supposed to not get caught, and you're a little octopus, and they tap a little bit into like they play a little bit with being like, oh, it's Konami, so Metal Gear Solid, and like they do the box opening and stuff. Yeah, that looks neat. That looks silly. I probably the lowest on my hype meter of everything they showed, but like I'm down to check it out.
Agree.
Yeah, but I mean it's
not bad.
clearly
it's just not what.
Well, it's clearly a different budget level than everything else, right? Like that's like you're making legacy IP sequels, and then it's like, by the way, here's this silly fun octopus game that we like worked with this team to make, and like that's cool too. And then the other brand new one, Rev Noir, which I kind of want to know a bit more about this one, but the snippets we've seen looking pretty good. I know I'm seeing a lot of people kind of equate Xenoblade vibes a little bit as far as the the way the exploration looks, because again, we only got some quick bits and pieces here, but it has that kind of vibe. Not Xenoblade combat, however. We only saw like maybe a second and a half of combat, but it was very clearly faster paced, real time action type stuff. But yeah, I mean, it looks kind of cool. I just need more info. I feel like when it comes to JRPGs, I'm a little bit more like, okay, like what's the full scale of everything here?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked what I saw. Like, it looked cool, looked like real, pretty creative to me. Obviously, yeah, you could see the influences from Xenoblade, but it's definitely something that I'm going to keep on my radar, and I'm curious as to like see more about the creative like heads that are involved with the project.
Yeah, I'm curious who's actually making this.
Yeah. So
actually, so I was just trying to look it up right now. Let me double check. Yeah, so games producer Nobuki Kadoi, who worked on Gunslinger Stratos and Dragon Guard 2, developer Ilka is also involved, which, yeah, that doesn't super clarify like what that level of involvement is. If you guys don't know that dev by name, Ilka, probably most infamously known for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but they did also make Sandland, which is a better game that not really a lot of people picked up.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I still need to get my own copy of Sandland, and I do want to check that out at some point. But, cool. Yeah. I mean, it's a new JRPG IP. I'm interested. We'll keep an eye out on it. And yeah, so that's everything that we got from Konami. Again, ultimately, like, really good stuff. And I wish we got like something more from Suikoden, but
yeah, I think right now that's all in on the mobile game. Like like as much as I would love for them to, either make a new one or try to re-release some of the later entries, I think the gacha game is currently the priority, and that's going to help determine how much they invest in the series as a total. Well, okay, to be fair, it's the multiple projects they're doing at once, because they're definitely doing this like push for Suikoden relevance by making other things than just Suikoden games, because they're doing the anime, there's the manga, there's the mobile game, there's multiple projects happening right now. So I think those are the focus. I would absolutely adore like a proper like fixing 3 up would be so beautiful, because like 3 has a very solid plot. It just has a lot of mechanical choices that, especially after 1 and 2, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And so like that game getting the facelift would be awesome.
Okay.
But yeah, not the priority right now, I think.
Cool. So we can talk about everything else that was announced at the State of Play, and if you want to just kind of start from the beginning and we go down.
Sure. Just go in order. Well, the hard open, we got the reveal of a sequel to a game that I realized I've been mispronouncing the name of this whole time, thanks to the developer presenting it. Because I've been saying Kena.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the developer, like, on the presentation was pronouncing it Kena.
Too bad. Too bad. It's Kena.
No, it's Kena. That's sorry. I'm going with there are various languages and various ways to do it. I think it's fine if you want to call it Kena, because people are going to understand what you're saying. But like
everyone's called it Kena. I have not heard a single person say Kena.
You did today if you watched the presentation.
I know, but
yeah, new Kena, which Honestly, looking pretty good. Like I thought the first game was visually very pretty, but it felt like it was a little kind of in the basic level still, but it was the kind of game where I think like a sequel with the right building blocks could really make something cool, and this is looking like it's delivering on that hope. A pretty meaty trailer. The scope in general looks larger. We saw a couple scenes that looked like not necessarily open world, but like pretty large areas and zones that are just a bigger world than what we had in the first one.
Yeah.
Characters aged up a little bit. They reference how there are familiars, like plural, which in the trailer we just saw the little fox that like ends up turning into like a bigger fox mount that she rides at one point. Yeah, it looks cool. Like I liked the first one well enough, but I do think it's something that just needed a little bit extra like budget and work and time, and that's what this might actually be delivering on.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I do think Bridge of Spirits, like I still like Bridge of Spirits a lot,
Yeah.
but it definitely was very bare bones in like kind of its design and in the sense of combat and things like that. But and also just like very much just like it felt like a PS2 game, which isn't particularly a
Sure.
bad thing.
Yeah.
But you could just tell like, oh, this feels like how older games used to be designed, I guess, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And but like this new one was like were you surprised by this? Like I was surprised that it got like we're getting a sequel. Not particularly because I think that the first game didn't do well enough, but just more so that like it was just kind of just unexpected.
Yeah, no, I would agree it's unexpected. I mean, especially because I think a lot of people view Kena as being like a PlayStation IP, which it's not. Ember Lab is not owned by PlayStation. They had a timed exclusivity that ran for a while, but they also very heavily pushed this game when like the PS5 was coming out. And it's one of those things where that was Ember Lab's first big release, and so I didn't really pay attention to them after that. I don't know if there's been rumblings or anything they've said publicly, but it's just like, I don't like, are they going to do a sequel? Are they going to make another brand new game? Like, I just don't know what the studio's plan was after that first game. So yeah, like I was surprised seeing it here. Let me put it this way. I made a video talking about stuff I think we'd see here. I didn't bring it up there, and I don't think I ever would have thought to bring up like a sequel. Like that's definitely something that like yeah, surprising.
Yeah. No, they outside of them basically saying like, hey, there's a PS5 edition now of like a next gen version of Kenna, and then like it came to Xbox eventually as well, if I remember correctly. Like,
yeah, it did go multi-plat eventually.
Yeah, there was no like news or rumblings of a Kenna sequel or anything like that. Cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. My only pretty like honestly, I take big issue with it. No little guys. Where are the little guys?
I mean, they're not the same little guys from the last one, but there were little guy energies
but
in that.
Are they a mechanic in the game though, where they help you do stuff?
Maybe we'll find out.
I want my little black balls of whatever they are.
I feel like there's better ways to word that.
Is that not what they look like?
Yeah, no, I know.
My little fur people. Is
Yeah.
that better?
Little fur guys.
Yeah, little fur guys.
On that note, this I think one of the things that is also interesting about this reveal is the fact that it's this year. We don't know the actual they didn't give a window, so summer could be holiday. The fact that it's being announced here in February would imply to me it would need to be like back half of the year, but yeah, nice little surprise, and it is going to be coming to PS5 and PC. I saw your thinky face. What you thinking?
I'm looking to see when the first game came out.
September.
Okay, because I knew it was around the same time, like around September, October time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool.
Next up, our one first party serving that they did near the start, just to give you a little PlayStation up front. Ghost of Yotei Legends. They had already announced this like very briefly in a Yotei trailer, but didn't really go into any further detail back then, other than it's happening. And so today we actually got like at least somewhat of a look at the gameplay. It was still a pretty short trailer, but it gave us a look at the 4-player cooperative gameplay, what some of the playable characters look like, and most importantly, that the release date is March 10th. I realized I kind of just jumped into this without explaining what Legends is. If you don't know what this is, Legends was a free co-op multiplayer mode that was added to Ghost of Tsushima, and Yote, they just revealed right away, hey, we're going to do this for Yote as well. It's just not at launch. It's a free thing. It's being added to it. Like, it's on its way. And now we know when.
Sweet. Yeah, Legends is great. So
yeah, I don't play that kind of stuff often, but I know a lot of people who were really into it. I know some folks who were like, oh, yeah, I never really put that much time in Tsushima, but I played a lot of Legends. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
sweet.
I know people like that too. It's interesting.
Yep. After that, very, very brief thing, Death Stranding 2, PC port, March 19th.
Cool.
They announced a couple other features as part of that, like ultra-wide support and such. All the things that's like, oh, because it's on PC, we can do this now. Awesome. Cool. Like, makes sense that you want to, like, shout that out real quick, but clearly they didn't want to, like, dwell on it too long, because it's like, hey, ultimately we do want you to buy a PS5, but this is also happening.
Can I just make a small tangent here?
Hit me with your tangent.
Pretty surprising that when it came to the Game Awards time, Troy Baker didn't get nominated for his role in Death Stranding 2, but did for Indiana Jones. Just because I heard that, like, his performance in Death Stranding 2 is, like, really good.
Sure.
Like, you know. And so that's just, like, a small thing that I thought about earlier today when I was like, wait a minute. He was, like, literally when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, wait, he got nominated for Indiana Jones, but what about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a combination of, like, Indiana Jones is more recent. I think there's maybe a little bit of a novel.
Though. Remember, it came out in December 2024.
Oh, right, but it got re-released. That's right. It was a wraparound one. That's right.
Yes. It was, well, yeah.
Yeah, I think part of it might also just be the novelty of, like, here is an established actor doing his best Harrison Ford impression, and he actually kind of nailed it.
Yeah,
like,
he did. No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He did really well.
I think there's a degree. Yeah, and they weren't going to give him nominations for 2 different roles of the same guy. Has there been any precedent for that?
What?
Like, has there ever been a precedent for having the
2
same
nominations?
voice actor? Yeah, 2 nominations for the same actor, but for different roles.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and, like, you don't really ever. I don't think there's ever been a precedent for that in, like, whatever, like, movie awards. Like, if one actor got 2 real good roles in a year, you're not going to see that happen unless it's, like, supporting versus a lead. Anyways, this is a whole side tangent.
Yeah,
moving on.
Yeah. Like, because there was a year where, like, this is the Oscars, but Scarlett Johansson was nominated for Marriage Story and lead actress, and then, what's the Hitler one?
Jojo.
Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress that same year.
Yeah.
What's the Hitler one? Was crazy of me to say.
I mean, I immediately got what you meant. What you said.
Jojo
like,
Rabbit.
It took me a second. I was like, oh wait, okay, yes, okay, her in it, yeah, which is a much different tone movie than you would expect from that being the opening segue. Anyways. We got another look at 4-Loop, which, I mean, like, was announced before, but this was our first, like, kind of heavier look at it. Cam, do you got any, like, input on this one? Because this just isn't really my bag.
I'm not gonna lie, I was still thinking about the Hitler thing, and I didn't hear the name of the game.
4-Loop.
4-Loop. Oh, I watched. I saw the same things that you saw. I think.
Yeah,
we talked about it in the beginning. We talked about it in the beginning of the show. I'm like, I don't think that this game is going to take off. I think it's going to bomb, unfortunately. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, here's what Jesse said. My buddy Jesse Vitelli from Restart. He said something that I thought that I think is very valid. He said that the game is really hard to market because it has so many systems. You can tell that the game has a lot of systems, and they're very, like, unique creative systems that, like, no one's gonna understand by just, like, watching a trailer.
Right.
And so, like, it could be cool if I saw like a live demo of like a run, right? Because it seems like
Yeah.
it's like an extraction type shooter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, co-op, playthrough
Yeah,
missions. Part of the big thing they were focusing on is how like you can pick different, like you vote on like what the next like mission parameter kind of thing is going to be, and that like I don't know, they threw a lot of keywords in this presentation. We got him
yeah,
like
yeah.
they managed to drop the emergent gameplay just seasoning on there, being like, ah, yes, make your decisions truly matter in this four-player cooperative action
Yeah.
game.
And another thing I'll mention is like the game just doesn't look ready from a visual standpoint. It looks like it needs more work. It doesn't feel like it should come out sometime this year.
I mean, I dig the giant Rubik's cube you have to kill. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, and so I to me it has like a lot of red flags. But like I'm very curious as to what the systems are at play
Yeah.
and how that ends up coming about. But again, like I said earlier, because again, not trying to go on a huge tangent, I'm
But
really
yeah,
not.
live service stuff is rough right now. Like,
But you know, one of the games that beat that weirdly was Arc Raiders, right?
sure, and
then when
Helldivers
people-
too.
Well, yes, Helldivers I wouldn't say is an extraction shooter though.
Sure, but it's a live service. Like, it's still in that vein of long-term support. Like, I'm just thinking of live service
Sure.
titles in general, along the lines of like also High Guard and 2XKO, and just what we've been talking about in general of like how that field has been doing.
I get what you're saying. I think that Helldivers 2 is a bit of an anomaly, but I get what you're saying.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. It is an exception,
yeah.
not the rule.
Yes. Is that like with Arc Raiders, like when people talk about Arc Raiders and I see people play Arc Raiders, I'm like, this is just the Dark Zone from Division. Like what made this pop off when this has already existed in a similar form? And so like that is like the thing that this game has going for it is like again, really cool ideas, really like you know, potentially really interesting systems, but when it comes to like live service games, you kind of have to like make it digestible, because if you
Yeah.
don't make it digestible, then people are just going to check out. And so like you know, we were talking about High Guard earlier, like I thought like I don't think like High Guard did a really great job at that either. And so you know, I don't ever want to see games fail, but I'm just saying like when I saw that trailer I was just like,
No, there's a reality that at
don't
the end of the
know.
day, like, these are things that rely on needing players and income, and that is actually one of the things I want to bring up real quick, because I was trying to double check this, and it looks like it just has not been confirmed anywhere yet. We don't know what this is using for a pricing model, so we don't know if this is like a buy up front. We don't know if it's free to play with like, you know, season passes or whatever. We do not know the monetization model for this game just yet.
yeah, I mean, it'll probably be I don't see it being free to play. I see it being at least $40
Yeah,
minimum.
that's my assumption as well. Yeah.
And you know, just while we're on the whole live service multiplayer topic, even with like the apparently really good changes that I've heard from the alpha test, like I'm really nervous about Marathon.
yeah. We were gonna get there. It is in the show.
Yeah,
I-
again, we're just because it's going to be in, you know, we're going to talk about it anyway. We can just kind of
Yeah.
stay on the subject. Like Marathon, like I don't know, dog. Like I know it's Bungie, and I do think Bungie makes like, you know, outside of id Software and the Coalition, like those three I think make the best shooters in video games. Respawn is obviously in the conversation as well. And I'm looking at this game, like it looks pretty, it looks like neat, but like we're in a place right now in gaming where like it's just really hard, even if you are a household name,
Yeah.
to maintain an audience like that. Like I don't think, like if Destiny came out like in 2026 for the first time, I don't know, dog. I
Yeah.
don't know if it would have been able
Yeah,
to
well,
stick around.
The winds change like that fast now, you know.
Yeah.
I think I even saw our buddy James from RPG Gamer. He brought up that example of like if FF14 launched in like 2024, it would not have survived. Like there wouldn't
Yeah.
be no Realm Reborn comeback story. Like it just would have been like, nope, clean our hands of this. Like, it's just move on. Um, yeah, I mean, the thing with Marathon, I will say, look, because I don't go here. I just pay attention to
Yeah.
things as an outsider.
Sure.
And I will say that, again, Bungie, big legacy name. Marathon technically is a legacy name, even though this is going a pretty different direction. I've also heard a lot of positive things from people that were parts of the alpha tests. The game did end up like topping charts for pre-orders, which who knows what that actually means once we hit release day and we actually see what those player counts are like. But there's at least some buzz to this. You know, it doesn't sound like it's going to be the same degree of like no one showed up like Concord had at launch.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it's rough. I think the biggest thing to talk about when it comes to live service games and whether or not they get to live, it's not even a question of is it good. It's just, can it cut through the noise? Like, is there something about it that is able to bring enough people to decide that they're going to spend their time on this versus however many other sunken cost games they've already been playing, right? We're talking about like High Guard having the launch that it had. And also at the same time, Overwatch has now relaunched and rebranded and is like having its huge surge right now. Narrative and audience and just ultimately getting those eyes and getting them to stay is such an important thing.
I mean, I think there's a lot of layers to this. I don't know how deep you want to go into it, but like, you're not wrong, but also Blizzard is like such a behemoth of a company, and it's got Xbox money now.
No, but that's what I mean. Is like they have that like established momentum to be able to draw those eyes and to like keep people on and have more benefit of the doubt versus say High Guard.
Yo, for sure, 100%. But I'm also like, but it's also like, you know, when you look at Bungie, like, the most recent things I think about is like layoffs, right?
Sure.
And like how the head of the company is like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He like doesn't show like any sort. He's not humble about his wealth, if that makes sense. Sure. And so like, and then when he does that type of stuff and then people are like losing their livelihoods, it's like, that's a bad look.
In no way am I trying to say that Bungie is in a Blizzard position or has that kind of name power alone.
Okay.
That wasn't my implication. My thing was that it doesn't matter in a vacuum how good a live service game is. What matters is the narrative of, do people actually have interest in it and go to spend time in it and have a reason to stay. Because even with High Guard, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, this is legitimately very good, especially once they added the 5v5 mode. But the problem is, by the time they added 5v5, there were already a lot of people that tried 3v3 and said, no, I don't like this, I'm out, and stayed out. You know? Like, who knows how that narrative could have been different if 5v5 was the choice from the start.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm 100% playing Marathon day one. I'm super curious about it. Like, I haven't really followed it in a real way. Like, it wasn't even until today that I learned that it was an extraction shooter. Because I was watching it with some friends and I was just like, what is Marathon? Because I've just been out of not been following that side of the industry for a while. But I love Bungie. Like, Halo is one of my favorite franchises back in the day for sure. So I definitely want to check out Marathon and support Bungie. But I just like that.
It's
Marathon just feels like a big question mark. It feels like a big question mark.
Oh, it's a very big make or break kind of game, and I think it's a very big deal for Sony as well because of like the current narrative of Sony live service in general, right? Like, Helldivers 2 being a success is great, but no one ever really talks about that in comparison to how much people are saying, oh, Concord 2 coming at you right now, Concord 3 next up on the chopping block. Like, so many people run with that narrative constantly, and it's like, they probably want that to stop.
I don't think we as an industry talk enough about how Jim Ryan basically was like, hey, we're going to put all our chips in, or like 90% of our chips in, on live action multiplayer games, and then they make way too many, and then like they're not ready to release when they release, and then it's all falling apart, and then he's just like, I'm going to retire.
Yep.
Crazy that he was like we do not talk about that enough. Anyway, let's talk about other games.
Moving on. It's time for the Capcom press tour. because in case you hadn't heard of these games before, we did get some trailers for Pragmata and Resident Evil Requiem. These continue to look cool, and we're excited for them.
Well, there's one thing I do want to talk about.
Okay. Is it that Leon was allowed to shoot people this time?
No.
Because that was pretty funny.
It does involve Leon. Leon is infected again, seemingly. How do we feel about that? Do you think that that's like a hand wave type situation, or do you think that this is gonna be like Leon's like final bow?
I think it's just a plot element for this one, and we'll see how it plays out in the game.
You don't think Capcom has the balls to kill off any other characters?
I just don't even think that's the implication just yet. Like, it's not like Sega teasing
I don't know
Kiryu.
Resident Evil like that. Like,
yeah, I didn't get that vibe at all. Let me just put it that way.
Okay.
Because like it's not like when we saw Like a Dragon 8 trailers and we were like, oh man, is Kiryu gonna die?
Yeah.
Like, that is not the vibe I got from seeing Leon in this. My biggest thing was just like, is the girl in the chair Rebecca? Who is his assistant? Who is he talking to right now? Is it an established character or a new character? That was my only thing.
Who?
Like whoever his earpiece person he was talking to during a lot of the trailer.
Okay. No, yeah. So I get that, but also like I don't know, comparing Yakuza that is like basically like a Japanese soap opera type game to Resident, like the tonally it's just so different anyway.
Right.
That like I get it, but I'm also just like I don't know if I would compare those two.
Yeah,
IPs.
I guess my main point is that like I just don't see. Yeah, like I didn't see it as like will this be Leon's final game? Like people get infected and cured so goddamn often in this series. Are you kidding me? Like we're talking about a franchise that both has like, oh no, like the horrible deaths caused by these slow walking zombies, and then DLC stories where you're a dude in the swamp wrestling zombie gators. Like it's just nothing's off the table. Dudes can just punch their way through infections. It's fine.
I'll take your word for it, because again, I'm not an RE guy, so I was like, I'm not. That's why I wanted your opinion. I was like, hey, is this gonna happen or?
Yeah, I mean, like, sure, that could absolutely be a thing where they decide to officially write off a character, but I don't see that being a thing they would do. Like, maybe. Like,
I will say though, do you think it's a little odd now that after Nintendo and especially PlayStation, no Onimusha?
I think right now they're just trying to emphasize the ones that are coming out sooner. I think Pragmata and Requiem are just both closer releases, and if they could fit more in, they would. But yeah, I think Monster Hunter Stories 3, Pragmata, Resident Evil, those are the focuses. Also, Resident Evil's out in like, what, 2 weeks? So, you know, once that's out there, I'm sure we'll end up seeing more of Onimusha at other presentations.
That's fair.
Yeah. Real quick, the one funny thing, I don't think we clarified this enough earlier. I don't know how many people paid attention to this. I think we talked about it in our direct episode, but the fact that like all the Requiem gameplay with Leon had him intentionally missing zombies because they couldn't show like blood and gore, and then this trailer is just immediately right into like, okay, he's headshotting dudes and doing spin kicks. Like, here you go. Here's the action Nintendo wouldn't let us do.
Yep.
That was just funny to me. Yeah, I mean, for Requiem, it was kind of just like, here it is again. Pragmata did actually have one relevant piece of news, which was that they were releasing the Pragmata demo again. Like, cool. Here's a demo that you can play on PS5. Sweet.
I'm very excited for Pragmata. That's all I have to say about that.
I'm excited for both of these. Like, I feel bad, like, because like definitely the last couple presentations have just been like, yeah, I do get, like, I am excited for these games. I would be totally cool if we didn't get any more trailers for them at this point. Like, I don't need the airtime for them anymore. I get it. It's marketing. That's important. And I'm totally cool with games normally showing up multiple times, but I feel like we're hitting records of, like, how many trailers in a year, like, time span we've gotten for these ones.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yup. Some really damn cool news for me that is not relevant to JRPGs or Eastern devs. Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered, baby.
It's
happening. This was like kind of leaked a few months, like almost a year ago, actually, I think. I forget. There was like a statue that said from Defiance Remastered, and people were like, that's not a game that's out yet. You know, they already did remasters of the first two Soul Reaver games. The Blood Omen ones are stuck in a little more kind of weird limbo, but that's kind of fine because Blood Omen 2 isn't very good. But Defiance, it's coming back, and very soon, March 3rd. Which they also announced another game, which I actually missed this and I saw it afterwards. I don't know how, like, I guess I was taking notes or something. There's like a tie-in additional brand new Legacy of Kain game coming out that's like a prequel to Soul Reaver. So all cool stuff.
Oh, I don't remember seeing that either. So
Okay, so then maybe that was entirely like off stream, like just announcements that happened later then. Because there's been news of an additional game as
all
well.
I saw was that it included the demo of the canceled game.
Yes.
The game that got canceled.
I think that's if you get like the digital deluxe or something. Like I do think that's like a locked off. It's not like part of the core game.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
kind of
dumb.
weird choice, but also cool that exists. You can play a demo for a game that's probably never going to happen, unless that's part of the point of this is to make that a reality now. I don't know. Brigandine, we're getting a brand new one of those.
I'm not familiar with the series, but it looked neat.
Yeah, this is a very different looking one, at least different from the ones that I've seen. So Brigandine's been around for a while. I think like the first one was like a PS1 game even. The only one I'm really personally familiar with was there was a new one about 4 years ago that I played on Switch.
Oh,
This one does look a little different though, because the ones that I saw were more kind of grander strategy focused and very much more like traditional high fantasy vibes. Whereas this one's getting a little bit more into kind of like technological fantasy. It looks more like an actual like kind of smaller scale tactics game, at least based on the little bits of gameplay we saw. Yeah, I'm curious to learn more about this when it comes out later this year. I didn't love the other ones that I tried. It just was not quite the right thing for my brain, but I know folks who do like the series. So, one to keep an eye on.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, looks like that it released, the first one released in 1998, published by Atlas. And then there was a sequel that came out an expanded version of the game in 2000. And then the sequel came out 20 years later. So
Yeah.
the Switch version is the sequel? That's
Yes.
crazy. Okay, so this is the new one. Okay, interesting. Well, I definitely am curious about, I'll definitely check out the sequel at the very least. I don't think the original's on like is it on like PS Classics or anything, do you know?
I don't think so. I think this is one of those ones where you got to go to your local retro store and fork over like 200 plus bucks.
Yeah, not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, like I'm curious.
Or
if
through
the-
other means that we won't elaborate on. Anyways, after that, we got ourselves some Dead or Alive. Team Ninja showed up.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just
Oh, okay.
no Ryu Hayabusa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bringing them back. So this was actually 2 announcements back to back. It's very funny because this is like the exact same move that Sega did with Virtua Fighter, where it's like, hey, we're re-releasing the last one that came out and people may have forgotten about, Dead or Alive 6, which also wasn't a particularly liked Dead or Alive entry, so I'm very curious what they're going to rework here to hopefully make people a little happier. I know part of that was because of the very aggressive monetization. I mean, we're talking costumes for days. That DLC list is daunting. It is the length of War and Peace. It's a lot. But they're re-releasing it as Dead or Alive 6 Last Round. This is coming out on June 25th, and similar to the original release, it does have a free-to-play version, so you can just like dive in with a limited roster of characters, and then there is like an upgrade that actually gives you the full roster and everything. And like that's cool and all with all of its updates, but the main point of this really is to hype up the fact that, by the way, we are also working on a brand new Dead or Alive game that will come out who knows when. With the most hilarious freaking trailer.
They just showed
it's like,
tits.
yeah, it's literally, if you didn't see the
Just
trailer,
showed tits.
no, you see Ryu Hayabusa for like a moment, like blocking an attack from Kasumi, and then it does like a pan, and it just pans to like chest height, and that's it. Like that's the closing shot of the trailer, and it is so ridiculously on brand for one of the horniest video game series that has been not rated adult. Yeah, cool. DOA's maybe back. We'll see how. I'm very curious to see how like this 6 re-release is handled, because I just know the original version of 6 was not liked very much. So I'm curious if this will like sway opinion amongst the fandom. I was never like super huge into DOA, so I don't really know what they need to do to fix it for me. But Maybe I'll check it out. It's got a free version. Control Resonant was the next thing we got to see some extended gameplay of.
All right, I'm gonna open this one up. The Control hater is gonna speak on Control.
It's your
Resonant.
favorite game of 2019. What are you talking about?
Anyway, this shit looked great.
Yeah.
Like way better than the first game.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about Remedy's future in general for things unrelated to this trailer.
Oh yeah, the CEO hire. Yeah.
That's a whole thing. But hey,
no.
maybe we'll get this just in time. So.
But I think that in general, over the past few years, like, I think the weakest part of Remedy games in the past were the action elements.
Sure.
And I think that, again, I don't think Control played bad, but I didn't think it played great, and that was like one of my big issues with Control. Control Resonant looks really great. Combat looks a lot better.
Yeah.
They're a big push on like melee specifically, and just like the way that you can you can basically like run off a ledge and then it'll just shift and you're just still running on a building top, like really cool technical stuff.
The stage design and like ways gravity works and messing with like what plane you're standing on, super cool.
Yes.
It's actually very funny that like I am excited for this game and what we saw does look good, but I'm almost the opposite of you on this, where like to me, here's the thing, right? I think it's so much easier to make a like fairly satisfying over-the-shoulder shooter. It's just like such a like, just like have decent gun feel and like let me aim and not feel like I'm missing all the time for dumb reasons and like we're good. Like I can have an over-the-shoulder shooter and like you can hit those basic box marks and they get fine. My like minimum vibe for like an action game to feel good for me, like you got to make that shit good.
It's higher, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
And because they have not made a character action game before, I'm like, how's this gonna go? Like we'll see. Like they've made multiple games with like guns, but this is really a first for them to go in this more kind of vaguely Devil May Cry style of character action game. So very curious how it's going to actually feel. I will say what we saw looked good. Boss fight, fantastic. Just the very quick snippets of it. But I mean, if there's anything they're going to nail, it's the vibe and the art direction. Like that's going to be good. That's just locked in.
Yeah, not a JRPG, but we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going. I mean, with how much time we spent on Marathon, we're just going over this whole presentation.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. guys, it's 11 o'clock right now. We're tired.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. We're not. This is not a super long one yet, so we're gonna make it. Well,
here's the thing: Marathon is okay because it's Sony owned. You know what I mean? Like it's
now,
Sony owned.
Yeah. Crimson Moon game coming out in 2026. That is an action game. Very heavy gothic, vaguely metal kind of vibes.
Can I just say, like, I think that, like, just respectfully, I think that this was like the weakest thing that we saw at this showcase. Like I thought, when you say Crimson Moon, I know exactly what you're thinking about. Like I can think it has a sense of identity, but just like the gameplay, like just like the trailer, like it felt like a PS2 game in the sense of like how everything was moving, and it felt like really either early development or that they were going for some sort of animation style that just like really didn't work for me. I don't know which, but yeah, that one just looked like I was like almost like, why is this in a state of play? Almost.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if anything, it's kind of more what we've gotten at a lot of the last state of plays. I agree. It was one of the weaker ones. It might not have been the weakest for me, but it's not that much above that. I think this is one where I also just like, I got a lot of vibes and I got a lot of like art direction and music out of this, but I'm not really sure what the gameplay fully is. Like, is this like a Souls-like? Is this like I don't know. I just don't fully know like what the gameplay style is from what we saw.
I will say, speaking of Crimson, surprised we didn't see Crimson Desert during the state of play. Speaking of games that like are close to coming out that are
Yeah.
like, you know,
No, I had that thought as well. I
getting a
think they
big
did
push.
drop like independently a new like I don't know if you'd call it like a dev diary or like a they did like have their own little like here's a release of like some more gameplay. But yeah, I mean that
Okay.
game's coming up quick. It's like mid-March, right? So there's only so much time left to that's a game where they are making what kind of sounds like the everything game, and it could be kind of cool and pulls it off, or uh, they gave it a real good try and spent a lot of money. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
I was
find
gonna say,
out.
like, I'm really curious as to the budget of that game.
Whew.
Anyway,
It would probably make me begin to hyperventilate. Beast Reincarnation, we got another look at that, which I mean, I feel like we didn't really get anything that new compared to what showed up at like the Xbox presentation.
there's Evolution
True.
by Game Freak, the Pokemon dev. They brought it over. You know
They
what I
brought
mean?
it over.
Yeah, no. At this point with Beast and Reincarnation, I don't need to see anything else. I just want to play the game. Like,
Yeah.
like this is the new game for me, where it's just like, stop showing me it, just let me play it.
Yep, and well, regrettably, it's further out, so you're probably going to see it a couple more
Yeah, I
times.
know
'cause-
it sucks. I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't
August
want to
4th.
see this
It's
game
going to be
anymore.
a minute, buddy. This was something that was rumored before the show and ended up being real. Rayman 30th anniversary.
Yeah,
Just play the original Rayman with. I think they had like different country localization versions you can play, and all the stuff that comes with anniversary release remasters, where it's like here's art books and some dev diary type stuff mixed in. Cool.
yeah, neat.
Neat, yeah. I never really got into older Rayman much. I loved Origins and Legends a lot. Like those were the two I played a ton.
Yeah.
Never tried the ones before that, which I've heard good things about. I've also heard they're just very different from that kind of direction they went later. But something. So here's the thing. I think I originally recorded this in my predictions video, and then I cut it because I was like, nah, I'm not going to put time on that. And it ended up freaking happening. Mina the Hollower
Right. Yep.
re-reveal as part of the show. Yeah, so for folks that have heard us talk about this before, Mina the Hollower, same devs as Shovel Knight. Game was supposed to come out October 31st. That didn't happen. Got delayed to an unspecified date, which has now been narrowed down to spring of this year. They didn't put time into this in the presentation because it was just a trailer, but they did do like a separate press release and Kickstarter update that did specify they were like, hey, spring is the window. We are going to hit that. We just aren't going to announce a date until we actually have the game like officially through all the application processes for all the different platforms. Like we need to make sure that we're actually like Nintendo has approved this to put on the shop. PlayStation's approved this for the shop. Xbox has approved this for the shop. Cool. Now we'll say that the hard release date is this date. So sounds like they're getting pretty close and that we are going to be, that spring sounds like it's pretty safely in there. We just don't know a specific date just yet. What they did also announce, though, is that they are releasing the limited time demo again just for PS5, and that will allow for save transfer. So it must be like a proper, like final version of the content.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious because I really want to play on Switch too, or Switch or whatever. But like,
Right.
knowing that the save transfer's over, it's just like, do I just like, But
I think the opening's short enough that like it's also one of those games where you're absolutely going to take longer the first time you play it because you're learning the things and getting the timings down, and you're probably going to die doing dumb things for a bit.
yeah,
And then like the moment you try to do it again on a fresh playthrough, you're just going to like burst through that same section. It's like a Dark Souls game kind of a little
yeah,
bit.
no, yeah. There's definitely Dark Souls. Like from what at least from like the first build that they showed off that I got to preview,
Oh, no,
like
Bloodborne specifically is an influence, like 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because Mina the Hollower is like one of the few games coming out this year that I know is like a day one, like, or if we get a review, like, assuming that we don't get review codes, like day one, like this is what I'm playing, and so like I'm not super worried about like playing the PS5 version for the save transfer. I'll just like, play it on Switch 2 when it drops.
Yeah. This is one I don't know as much about because I didn't check out the other games from them. I think maybe you're more familiar with Neva. We got a new game with Neva Prologue.
Yeah. So this is from the developer and Neva. They're basically like 2D side-scrolling not action adventure games. They're really I believe the team is from Spain, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they're very great devs. If you're looking for like a more like aesthetic, you know, calming type experience, I think that is like those are definitely indie games that you want to check out. And this is apparently a prologue. I haven't played Neva, so I don't really know what to expect from the prologue, but it's cool that we're getting more of that because again, they're just like one of the best like indie teams out there right now. So very cool.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Slightly different kind of genre. There's been a few games of this style, but I feel like we don't see a lot of them. Yako Shinobi Ops. This is a like isometric tactical stealth game. So the way it works is that you'll like control multiple characters and you're supposed to like infiltrate, you know, the fortress and that kind of thing and have them work together. Maybe one character can help distract things, one person can like demolish obstacles, etc. I was looking into this a little bit, and it looks like it's being developed by Acquire, which is interesting because Acquire's done a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Octopath among them, which we talked about earlier.
Yep. Brothership.
Yeah. So very interesting new title from them, especially because it is like an actual completely brand new game and not just like working on a pre-existing IP. So
Yes.
yeah.
I don't know if this is like the first game that they're working on through their deal with the Crown Prince or whatever. Because they had that deal that they made like near the end of last year, I think it was.
Right. Yeah. When Acquire got acquired.
Did Acquire that? Were they acquired or did they make a deal?
I think they just made a deal. I don't think they were acquired.
Okay.
I was just doing dumb wordplay.
Yeah,
but yes,
no,
you're correct.
And yeah, so I'm curious if this is like supposed to be that first game from them, or if this is a different game that they were already working on earlier. But outside of that, like the game as a whole, like didn't really grab me. I think this is again one of the weaker games that I saw during the state of play. So I'm curious to see how it will evolve over time. But just from a gameplay standpoint, just didn't really do anything for me.
It's absolutely a much more like niche kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Like I like this kind of thing. There's a whole like little series from a dev that sadly didn't survive. That's like this same gameplay style. So I'm kind of glad to see more games in this vibe. But I absolutely get that this is not. The thing is too, not a trailer maker style kind of game. You know what I mean?
No.
Like you're just not gonna make strong cuts with this kind. Like they tried, and I see what they were going for, and it's like it just doesn't. It's not the genre for that.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, it's just not the genre for that. You're never gonna make an enticing like action trailer with this type of game. It's just not.
Yeah,
how that
it's
works.
a little bit. It's kind of like that too with tactics games. Like
Sure.
To a certain extent.
You get to see a character walk on a grid and hit a guy. Exhilarating.
Yep.
But it makes my brain go burr, so that's what matters to me. Project Windless. This is a new game coming from Krafton. Yeah.
Yeah. This game was crazy.
Yeah. So apparently this is based on a novel.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks vaguely Dynasty Warriors-ish in energy or vibe, where it's like you against tons of enemies. I've also seen 27 different ridiculous joke names surface on the internet since its reveal.
Did you see
because
mine?
you play as like a big bird person.
Did you see mine?
I don't think I saw yours.
Oh, I said this that it's an Al's Toy Barn Muso.
Yeah. What did I see? I saw like Bakak Warriors.
Cock Rampage is what I saw.
Oh
I
God.
was like, yes, Nadia Oxford from Axe of the Blood God was just like Cock Rampage.
God. That checks out. There was another one I saw earlier that was actually pretty good. I can't remember. It was like a Devil May Cry pun, but involved chickens. It was like Kentucky May Fry or something. I can't remember.
Kentucky May
Yeah, it's just I
Fry.
mean, it looks
Shit.
like this is one of those ones where I think it's just so out of left field for a lot of people. Especially like when it references source material that I think at least a lot of the Western audiences is just not knowledgeable of. It looks interesting. I want to know more about it, but the trailer was definitely like a lot to take in. It went on for a good while too. It was a good length trailer.
Yeah, it was longer than it needed to be, but it sent the message for sure.
Yeah, and so and at least based on the way that was presented, I don't think that that's the final title. I think that's just the pitch name for it right now is Project Windless. But we said the same thing about Octopath Traveler, and that became a name. So I don't know.
Oh, did someone share Project Windless in the Octopath Traveler font? That would be so fucking funny. Because there used to be an old Twitter page where like every few hours
Project
they would
name,
just like,
yep.
yeah, just a project name in the. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I would do it in the font that's become like the kind of signature for Asano titles, and like, yep. Star Wars Galactic Racers. This was announced before, but we didn't see any gameplay, and now we have. Yeah, it is not pod racing. Pod racing. It's a racer. It's Star Wars. I'm kind of down. I like arcadey racers and I like Star Wars, so I'm gonna check it out. I'm not really sure what else there is to pitch about this.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm with you.
Yep, 2026 release. Cool.
Give me the pod racer with the purple lightning going in the thingies, and I'm good.
Yep. Give me the red line video game that we could never get. So that's what I want.
Do you know who the devs are for this game yet? Do we know? Because I think people think it's the Burnout people.
I believe I've heard that as well. I think that is like an open thing. Yeah. I think that's like how it was pitched initially. Yeah.
Wow. That's such the perfect team for that.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. 007, another game we've seen only 27 times in trailers.
Yeah, this is another one where it's just like, release the game.
Yeah, it's just like I can only see it so many. Yeah, exactly. Like I can only see it so many times. You know, I like this dev team. They made cool stuff. It should just be released at this point.
And I I'm really excited for this game. Like this is a day one game for me. This is like hey, I want to play this right when it comes out. Like I really love. I'm actually like out of the 3 games, like I like the original Hitman 2020 or 2015 the most. Like I think that one is the best one. And so like I actually the last level is a train level. I like that train level more than I like the train level in Uncharted 2.
Oh, it's a very different kind of game, but also yes.
Very different game, but like yeah. And so like anyway, I really love IOI and I really want to play this game. Just release it.
Yeah.
Just stop showing it to
me. I will say, as exciting as the concept is of like IOI making a 007 game, I feel like this has been one of the weirder like press, just the way they've been going about advertising it and showing it and like pushing it at certain events. It just feels very bizarre. Yeah. But I want it to be good, so I hope it's good. Next up was the Konami stuff, which we already talked about. So once again, hell yeah, Castlevania's back. John Wick game.
So good.
Yeah, did they say who was developing this? Because I don't think I saw. It's Saber. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like, obviously not like the number 1 or number 2 or 3, but like you're definitely a competent developer that's developing it. I'm curious if they got Keanu. Like they got his likeness, of course, but like is he voicing? Yeah, is he? You can't make a John Wick movie and not be Keanu.
Sure. I mean, like he certainly. There was a soundbite in that trailer, and I feel like it sounded like him, but maybe it could have just been a really good sound-alike. I mean, he's already lent his voice to games before, so
yeah. So very much would like to learn that information. I do think that last segment that we saw was actual gameplay versus the cinematic. So like. Very cool. I really hope it's like a mixture of like Batman Arkham and like the melee when it gets to like the melee elements, but then still able to have like a solid shooter if like if he's in like long range. So
right. Yeah, we'll have to see how they actually want to handle that, because even what gameplay we saw, it was basically seeing like takedown animations in process. So it's like that doesn't really show you what the actual moment-to-moment gameplay feels like. You're seeing the highlight reel of look at this cool animation we've already made.
Can I just say that like it didn't happen, but it would have been really cool, and I'm curious if you were thinking this too. So when we knew, because like I was again watching with some friends, and we knew it was John Wick like pretty immediately. Oh yeah. Again, shout out to Jesse. He was just like, "All right, now show slow clap."
I
And
mean,
like, if it was Slow Clap working on John Wick, that would have been crazy.
yeah, I feel like this is a little backhandy to Saber to say this right now, but yeah, like I probably would have been more like, oh, okay, all right, like let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Saber ain't listening to this podcast.
I know. Marathon already covered. This is the segment of the show where they went all in on like PlayStation first party. You know, they gave us that taste with Ghost of Yotei at the start, arguably a little bit with the new Kenna game as well. But this is where it's all like PlayStation published, owned type stuff. So Marathon. I will say real quick for that one of the things that was actually a new announcement, aside from reminding people that it's coming out in less than a month, is they are going to do like a preview week that is from February 26th to March 2nd. It sounds like it's just a free trial period that's meant to both stress test the servers, and I'm sure also as a way just to be like, hey, come on, like just try it. Like, come on. You might want to buy it. Like, just, you know, just pay. Like, just what if, you know?
Yeah.
Dip your toes. It's fine. Yeah. Saros, I feel like I should just like kick this one to you because like I liked Returnal, but I'm not.
You're crazy.
You're
Game
the
of the year
fan.
2021 Returnal. Game of the year 2021.
I think it would have been 7th for me that year. I don't know.
Insane.
It didn't click with me, buddy. And I understand it. Here's the thing. It's not like where I'm like, I don't know what people see. Like, I get it. It's just not for my brain. I just didn't. It's not for me.
See, like, because here's the thing. Like, I just love like high octane action games in the sense of like I have to like consistently be on my toes, like
Sure.
that in like Sekiro, which is why I love Sekiro. On top of just like that incredible parry and the like whole stance system, but that's neither here nor there. But like with Returnal, because here's the thing: when I started Returnal, did not expect to love it as much as I did,
Right.
and then I beat it in a single sitting for 13 hours. Like just straight up, just like absolutely was obsessed with it. And so like, when they announced Sorrows, I was like, oh my god, we're so back, dog. That being said, I'm still super excited for Sorrows. Like Sorrows is day one. That is the first game. That is the next game to come out this year, where it's like, oh, I'm not doing anything for at least a day. You know, like how I did with Trails first chapter.
No, you're gonna lock in. Yeah.
It's like I'm going off the grid. Like, I'm going off the grid and I'm playing Sorrows. But this state of play, what they showed, it's disappointing. I'm still excited. I'm disappointed because for me, and I know that it isn't that may not be the case for everyone. For me, I wanted more Returnal. I wanted Returnal 2.
Sure.
Sorrows is not Returnal 2.
No.
It's very clear that they are streamlining and like very much removing a lot of the roguelike elements.
They're toning them down
from
significantly.
Returnal
Yeah.
and simplifying things for Sorrows. And I think that I think that was like a decision, an intentional decision, because Returnal like sold well, but like if with them streamlining these elements, it's just going to sell just so much more.
Yeah, assuming people are willing to buy in. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the fact that you just basically have like a skill tree or an upgrade tree instead of like your upgrades being like the things that you get from like the store in Returnal and things like that, and you can now like jump in and out of whatever biome you're in. Like that stuff was disappointing for me to see. Like that's not what I want from this game. But the gameplay looks incredible. Like it looks like a upgraded version of Returnal. So it's like you take some, you lose some. I'm still super excited, and that is what that is.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're leaning harder into the light aspect of roguelite, in that they're trying to give you more overarching tools and less like, because like Returnal was a roguelite, but it resets you pretty hard. Like there were major upgrades you got, but a lot of it was just really adding more cool things you could maybe get on your run, and not just being like, you just have a permanent, like, this stuff's better now. Yeah. There we go.
Yep.
Saros.
So, very excited for Saros.
Yes. And then we already knew this, but April 30th release date, so it's coming. It's coming soon. Next up, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Hell yes. Not first party, but I mean, they're publishing it. Whatever. Two big things out of this trailer. One, we got a couple more character reveals, entirely X-Men focused. They showed Storm off a little bit, which I'm pretty sure we already knew.
We already knew about Storm. We already knew about Storm.
But after her, we got to look at Magic, Wolverine, which, I mean, we knew Wolverine was going to be in this.
Yeah.
Even if we hadn't seen him yet.
Cool, we got Steve Bloom back as Wolverine.
Yeah. Great choice. And kind of a surprising choice, Danger.
Yes.
I mostly emphasize that as surprising because they did also say what the launch roster size was going to be. And it's only 20, which is not like below the threshold of what I thought the minimum would be. But it's not on the higher end of what I thought it could have been.
It's small for a 4v4 game.
Yeah.
It's a small starting roster for a 4v4.
Yeah, I mean, the way this game handles 4v4, it's pretty fast. And I think, you can still kind of lean into, like, really only caring about, like, one or two of your team. But, yeah, it feels a little small for that many characters. Obviously, we're gonna get DLC. It's an Arc Sys game. It's a modern day fighter. Like, there's gonna be season passes.
This game is going
there's
to be relevant for the next 8 years.
Yeah, unless it crash and burns really hard somehow.
Which, there's no way.
Yeah. So, anyways, launch roster 20 characters. So we're at what, 11 now that we know? Like, we're at over the halfway point already, I think. Or is this 9? Because we had 6 or 8 before. We had 8 before.
We had 8 before.
Yeah, because the beta had 8.
So we had 8. We know 12 now.
No, because I think Storm was in the beta.
Storm was not a part of the original 8.
Oh, was she not? Okay.
No.
Then we're at 12. Okay.
Yeah, the original 8, off the top of my head, so, bear with me.
Yeah.
Star-Lord, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider. Did I say Ghost Rider already?
No, but I think you might have said Spider-Man already. I lost track.
Star-Lord, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider,
Doctor Doom,
and one other that I
want to say it was Storm. I thought Storm was one of the original 8.
I don't think it's Storm.
Okay, hold on. This is a very easy thing to double check.
Yeah. But regardless, very excited, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It looks like Storm was one of the original ones. Yeah. So really? It is. Yeah. Yeah. So we're at 11 out of the total 20.
Actually, no. Now that I'm looking at it, I think the original roster started with 7.
Right, but once the beta, I'm pretty sure they revealed Storm during the closed beta because the beta had 8 characters. I'm pretty sure. The second wave, at least.
Maybe. Maybe. But from the original 7, that was the original 7.
I'm not going to take the time to double check the original trailer right now. Anyways, we know 11 characters. And the other big announcement is that this does have a locked-in release date now of August 6th. So, not super soon, but not that far away. I'm excited for this game. I dug the beta. Fighting games are forever that genre that I very much love and I will never put enough time into to be any degree of competent at. But that's not going to stop me from picking this up and doing that exact same cycle again.
You might be right about Storm. Anyway, go ahead.
Any thoughts from you on Togon aside from...
I mean, fighting games in general are a genre of games I wish I put more time into and I wish I was better at, because I do like competitive games. I am a competitive type person. That being said, I'm excited for this because it's Marvel. I'm not like one of those guys where it's like, oh, it's an Arc System Work game, I'm in. I haven't played Guilty Gear Strive. I know it's a great game, I don't care about Guilty Gear like that. But with it being Marvel, Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, I like kind of decided going into the PS5 era that I would have all the first party physicals for PlayStation, so I'm gonna
Gonna
have it
have to.
anyway. Yep.
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 Yep, they're publishing it. It's yeah.
And it's a game I would buy physical anyway because it's a licensed IP that is surely gonna, however long in the future, delist. So
Cool, cool. Just real quick, we're almost done. There's only one other big announcement after this.
okay.
Who you want added that we don't have yet? Like, what character are you just like, oh, please, like,
The two immediate ones that come to mind are Blade and Daredevil.
good choices?
Yeah, yeah. Blade and Daredevil are definitely two of them. Magneto would be cool. Cyclops would be cool.
Yeah. I feel like we might like because they've had this being like the X-Men reveal. I wonder if this is gonna like tap out the X-Men for launch, but
Yeah,
we'll see. You
And
could
then,
definitely X-Men are big enough that they could constitute like half the roster, and I don't think anyone would bat that much of an eye.
yeah. Moon Knight would be cool. Shang-Chi would be cool. And just because of recency bias, give me Wonder Man, dog. We'll throw Wonder Man in there.
We haven't talked about Wonder Man on the pod.
we
yeah.
we haven't. I knew that we forgot to talk about something that's not related to this like to JRPGs on this podcast. We didn't talk about Wonder Man. We'll talk about it next week. If y'all need to watch Wonder Man,
It is very good.
If you're on MCU burnout, if you're like, oh, the MCU isn't the same anymore, just watch Wonder Man. Like it doesn't like it hardly has anything to do with the MCU as a whole. It's just a really great 8 episodes of television.
Yeah, it is not an MCU show. It is a show that happens to take place in the MCU. That's like the best way to. Yeah.
That is the best way to say it.
Yep.
And it actually like retroactively makes Iron Man 3 like good. And here's the thing. I actually like Iron Man 3 quite a bit. Like the whole fallout and drama of that I didn't really like align with. Like I was like I understood it, but I was like, yeah, but they're trying to do something here. But that being said, like they do, if you did not like Iron Man 3 because of the Mandarin stuff, this show makes it better. So yeah, anyway. What about you? What characters would you like to see added?
Jeez. Okay, so I mean, you touched on a few of them. Yeah, like Daredevil, Moon Knight, all would be cool. Especially just because I think those are characters that'd be very fun to see, like what their spin on them would be. Like I think that's one of the coolest things about this game is that like Arxis seemingly was given. I'm sure they have to go through some degree of approval, but they're like allowed to make the characters their own unique look and not just try to be like on model for like, oh, this is what people expect an Iron Man to look like. Yeah, so I think those two would be really cool. Always a fan of Phoenix, just because I like fire. Give me a fire character, I'm good. Which we already do kind of have with with Ghost Rider.
T'Challa for sure.
T'Challa would be cool. We gotta get like a Bruiser in here, right? Like Hulk or Thing or something. Someone big, grappler build.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who. Oh, who would be cool and like would be a little bit of an inspired pick in the sense of like it's not Hulk or Thing. Kingpin. Get Kingpin in there.
Yeah. You do like a whole like street level heroes kind of like list of people.
Oh yeah, would love that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, or like get like Jessica Jones and like that would be dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I not the most inspired pick, but like I always just tend to enjoy Thor in these things, so I'm just like, yeah, put Thor in there.
Yeah.
I have a renewed love for and this is like not a major character at all. I don't think she's got a hell of a chance of being in this. But with Marvel Cosmic Invasion, I was like, Phyla-Vell is like a cool character that had just a really crap arc that apparently like came back later. Like there's like a new version of her that's in the comics. I don't stay on top of comics at all. But I was just like, I dig this character's vibe. I'm down for flying sword wielding character. Cool.
Another character that would be really cool that it's definitely much like probably more of a C tier character that I have a newfound appreciation for because of Midnight Suns. Nico Minoru. She's like I don't know if she's considered like a witch, but she like basically has like the staff of one where you can like cast like any spell one time or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. She's a part of the Runaways.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with her. I didn't play because I also have not played. I've heard it's good. I have not played Midnight
You
Suns.
should play me that. Sounds
I've
really
heard good things.
It's really good.
Okay, and then the last big thing, which is two things, but Sony Santa Monica time. They're talking about stuff. First announcement: God of War Trilogy Remake is official. It's not just one. It's not 1 and 2. It's 1, 2, and 3.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. We don't know entirely what that means, other than they're being remade. We don't know if they're changing mechanics. We don't know if it's going to play like old God of War, or if it's going to get kind of a, Ragnarok 2018 style change to it. We just know it's happening, and at least based on how it was presented here, probably going to be a minute.
Yeah.
I'm of two heads of this because I'm like, I feel like everyone was expecting this to get announced at some point, and it's cool to have that official. But it also feels like maybe they were forced to just finally say something and be like, yeah, I mean, we started work on this last Tuesday, but it's coming.
Well, yeah. So I have a few things to say on this. So the rumor for a while, alongside the last announcement, was that it was a remake of God of War 3 specifically.
Yes.
And so that was what I thought from the beginning. And then when I see trilogy, I'm like, oh shit, they're just porting the trilogy. And then I see remake and I'm like, oh my god, dude, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I was like, oh my god. Cause like, this may be an unpopular opinion, but like, I kind of like the original trilogy more than 2018 and Ragnarok. And I think that like when people say that like, oh, Kratos is a one-dimensional character in those games, I'm like, did we play a different game? Because like there are definitely things that like Kratos does with his actions that like very much show like a character development.
I think 3 specifically left that taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Sure, I think 3 is the worst of the 3.
I think 3 left an impression on a lot of people of what the whole trilogy is like. That is kind of like that was mostly the last one you played. And like, not to say that there aren't like some arguments for, again, like maybe he's a little more simplistic or whatever, but like I absolutely think he is much better handled in 1 and 2 than he is in 3. 3 is just sort of like, man angry now, and that's his plot until like the last 10 seconds. Anyways,
but I just want to like the idea is that we don't know if it's like a Demon Souls remake or if it's like a ground up type remake. I'm thinking it's going to be more of a
visual purely,
like a Demon Souls type remake, because like those games are like incredible as they are, and seeing them be changed in any major way just feels wrong to me. I still think I'm not saying that it has to be like a complete one for one, if that makes sense. Because like TC Carson, he was the one who was talking, who made the announcement and stuff like that. He's gonna have to re-record all of his lines, right? Like he's gonna have to.
I mean, I feel like that's part of why they had him present, right? It's like, hey, like we're going back, like that's what we're doing right now.
And on top of like just like him kind of, it felt like he was a little bit swept under the rug when like they did not tell him that he was being recast and like all that stuff. So very cool that he was the one to reveal that stuff. But I think it's going to be more of a more traditional remake, nothing too crazy. At least I hope not. But there's just like so many cool set pieces in that game. I'm like, oh, I'm so curious as to what that's going to look like in a modern lens. So yeah. Anyway, continue, Kevin.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I do hope it's a more like because I am in the camp that I do like the later ones more, but it has a little bit more to do with like the writing, the gameplay style.
Sure.
And like I think it's cool to have those arcs have their very clear identities. And so I would hate to see them be like, oh, we're remaking 1, 2, and 3, and we're gonna make them just like your favorite newer God of Wars. I'm like, no, don't
do that.
Don't do that. Reverse. I hope that I agree with you. I would prefer it to just be like, if you want to like change up the mechanics a little bit, like whatever, you want to pump a little new blood to it, but I would rather it stay the faster paced character action style and not the like vaguely soul style that later ones went.
Well, two questions for you before we get into the other game.
Yeah.
One, I saw again. Jesse mentioned he's like, God of War trilogy is what you announced after you failed multiple live service multiplayer games.
That's the break glass, just like, all right.
Break glass in case of emergency. Do you really think that was like behind, like a part of that decision? Because it's a fair it's a fair thought, right?
Yeah, I think it's a fair thought. I mean, part of that is also though just like it's not like Sony Santa Monica was being put on like a live service game. It's like where the resources are going. Like if this was a thing where we found out it's Sony Santa Monica in name, but it's also with a ton of support from like Bluepoint, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. Bluepoint had a live service game canceled. Reallocate those over to like a remake project. Like that. If that's the play here, 100%. Like that would make sense to me. It's just a situation where it's like I don't think it's like Sony Santa Monica was suddenly being put on live service stuff and is now, never mind, we're gonna, bring out the big guns to make people like us again. It feels like this was probably a plan at some point down the line, and maybe it got moved up, but
yeah, I think as far as I'm aware, it seems like Santa Monica is the one that's working on this.
Yeah,
which is interesting because it's pretty well known that like Santa Monica's next game, which is probably going to be directed by Cory Barlog, is a new sci-fi IP.
Yep.
And so like, I'm curious as to like how, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head how big that studio is, and I just like don't know like how if they have like the resources, like the manpower to do both of those projects like properly and like full speed at the same time. So I'm curious about that. But I
will say real quick, because I just looked it up.
Yeah.
On their website, at least, they list themselves as being a team of 250 plus.
Okay. I mean, that's what you basically expect from a AAA studio. So
yeah, no, like this is a good size. It's not, it's not a small team.
Yeah.
Not
so
the largest either, but not a small team by any means.
Yeah, so I'm curious if like because I do think that we're gonna get that. I think we're probably gonna get that sci-fi game like next year. I think we're gonna get an announcement about that game sometime this year.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And so like once that happens, there'll be more like time to like work on the trilogy. Like and it's also like, hey, are they going to release all of these at once? Or are they going to release all of these like every 6 months, like back to back to back? Like what does that look like? There's a lot of questions that we're not really sure of, but in general, super stoked. And I hope that it's successful enough where they decide to do at the very least Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, because I would argue Ghost of Sparta is better than like
3
at least three. But like I'm one of those people that I like the first God of War the most. A lot of people say 2. I would say that Ghost of Sparta is probably my second favorite God of War game of the Greek saga.
Right.
So like I would really love, like that's where you really get to see like Kratos, like, and he's not one dimensional. Like,
no, much more characterization in that game. Like strangely, that you put that in the side
games. Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So again, we'll see when that happens. But as a way to kind of help balance out, being like, hey, obviously that's a thing that's not happening anytime soon. We do have one other game to reveal, where this has been rumored for a while. And now it is a reality, a 2D God of War game. This is being made by Mega Cat Studios, who I'm actually not entirely familiar with their other work. It looks like they've done a lot of support studio work from the looks of it.
Yeah. They've done some very like small projects, and then like the Backyard Sports series.
Yeah. So not the resume you fully expect. It does say it's in collaboration with Santa Monica. So I'm sure there's a degree of working together there. But this is a new 2D game that is like the oldest in the timeline now. We are dealing with Kratos as like not a kid, but like a young man, young like teen, like early teen.
Yeah, it's probably like a teen.
Yeah, he's like 13, maybe 12. They start him young in Sparta. Yeah, it's just a brand new game that was announced today and shadow dropped today. So I haven't checked it out myself yet, but you can buy and play this. Which fun thing that happened with this, I don't know if you saw this go down. There was a lot of confusion because the listing for the game says that it's 2-player. It is not, as far as anyone can tell. Like, there's no way to, like, it's just not a part of the game. That, at no point was that advertised in the trailer. Nowhere in the game does it make sense where you could do that. But it says it in the store listing, and there's a lot of people I know right now who are very excited to be like, oh shit, it's 2-player? Like, awesome. I'm going to get this right now and do co-op. Why can't I do co-op? So, oops. Bit of a... Someone messed up on a listing somewhere.
Yeah. I saw you all mentioning that in the Discord. I was like, oh, that's weird. Because I didn't remember any mention of co-op, so I was like, why are they talking about co-op?
Not in the trailer at all. It's 100% just from the store listing. And our Discord is not the only place I saw this. I was on another Discord where there were a few people who were like immediately excited when they saw that, and then had very angry messages about an hour later.
Dang. Yeah. In general, like, obviously I'm going to play this game because, it's God of War. I'm not crazy about... I don't really like how it looks. I'm not crazy about the art direction. Do you feel similarly there, or...
It's certainly not the look I would have expected.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like, it's... even knowing that it's like, this is not taking place during when the original games are, and we're going for maybe a slightly more grounded, maybe a little less epic vibe out the gate. Not entirely the look I would have expected. I feel like I just need to see more of it in action. The bits we saw, I agree with you, I didn't love. I wasn't like outright, oh, this is like... Because it's not even that it looks bad necessarily, it's just an art style I don't care for. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to dive in and check it out.
And it's $30.
Yes.
I don't know if we mentioned that.
We did not yet. I was going to say that it's 30,
okay,
which,
cool.
like, I don't know the full scale of this one, like how big it is. 30 feels like a little steeper than I would have initially suspected. Not like outlandish, but I feel like when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, like $20 game maybe? Oh, okay, 30. Cool.
Yeah. And it's probably like a 10-hour game, right?
10-ish
hours?
Yeah. I don't know. Shadow drop. No coverage, so...
Yeah. So we'll see. Cool. But yeah, overall, still, I thought that was a really great state of play. I do think I do have a question for you. Well, I have two things I want to talk about. One that's like we already know about, and two is just like I just want your thoughts on. So we got the new Horizon game announced before the state of play.
Yes.
Do you think that was announced so it wouldn't get drowned out by other announcements?
Maybe, because it's... Okay. I think... Here's part of the logic, I think. Because a lot of people only saw that game was announced, like, via social posts. But there's, like, a whole... It's like a 12-minute long, like, little presentation going over, how the game plays and what some of their plans are coming up. I think if anything, they just didn't want to dedicate that much time to that announcement specifically out of fear that it would have impacted like the overall momentum of the show and people would have just been like it would have created resentment, I think is the fear.
Yeah. If they did like that entire thing, 12 minutes, 100%, absolutely. I was just thinking more like, I didn't even know that. So like with that context, that makes sense. But I'm also kind of in the headspace where like they know that one of their top developers is working on a live action multiplayer game, and that hasn't really been going for well for them. And so I feel like that they announced this outside of the state of play, so it had its own time to shine and it didn't get buried by other games.
Well, and also tone down how live service heavy the show was, right? Because as far as Sony goes, they only had one at the state of play, which was Marathon. Yeah. And it's like that's happening. Like that's releasing in less than a month. They need that to get the like.
If I remember correctly, isn't 4Loop being published by PlayStation?
Is it? I just thought it was entirely a Bad Robot deal, like top to bottom.
I thought that they had a partnership with them.
Maybe a partnership. I don't recall seeing that it was like a publisher, but maybe that might be something I missed.
Yeah, PlayStation Publishing.
Oh, well, yeah. If anything, then that might be part of it. Is just like, hey, we have 2 live service games already in the show. We maybe should not have 3.
Yeah.
Also, still no sign of fair games.
My other question was, or just thoughts, like no Square, no
Yeah.
Atlas, no Sega.
No Sega, yeah. Well, I Sega in general, I feel like has not been as heavily present at PlayStation stuff. Like not
They're normally
entirely.
at Xbox stuff now.
Xbox and Nintendo. Yeah, they kind of have specific IPs and properties they tend to put there more often. I think where was Rhino Remastered initially revealed? Was that a state of play? Or was that a direct?
I think it was a direct. Yeah.
Was it a direct? Okay. Yeah, I think Sega in general, like, not that they can't do stuff at PlayStation, but I just feel like in general, Sega's leaned more towards Xbox and Nintendo for announcements. Xbox, absolutely, when it comes to a lot of the, like, Persona stuff. That's just, there's some kind of marketing deal there of being like, let people know JRPGs are coming to our platforms as well, damn it.
Yeah. It was announced during a direct.
Oh, was it direct? Okay, yeah. So there
Yeah.
you go. Right. It's like that's just kind of the 1-2, and not to say that Sony could or that Sega could never announce something at a Sony event. I just think it's not as much of a priority in terms of their at least the current way they're approaching their marketing.
Yeah, no, so, like Sega's in the headspace right now probably where like if they are developing a game for Xbox, they know that Xbox will give them a crap ton of money to
Show it there.
to market it for there so that more people buy on Xbox, like which isn't a problem on PlayStation.
Yeah. If anything,
So-
it's like a lot of people go, "Oh, why is this an Xbox show? Oh, cool, it's coming to PlayStation. I'll buy it there."
Sure, yeah.
Yep, a thing I've seen many times happen.
Yeah, I didn't really expect Sega or Atlas. Square is a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, but the thing is like,
But what would they announce
what would
right now?
what would they show? What would
Yeah,
they show?
because
Right?
like I know I saw some general like people being like, oh, like what if like we get at least a title reveal for Final Fantasy Remake 3? I'm like, that's a summer reveal.
That's
like,
Summer
at the
Game
earliest.
Fest or the Game
Yeah.
Awards. That's the only 2 places that's happening. Same
Yeah,
thing with
that is-
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
Like-
it could be at a PlayStation event during the summer. It doesn't necessarily have to be SGF specifically, but like that's a summer like hype reel thing.
If it was a PlayStation showcase, which we haven't gotten in like 3 years,
Yeah.
yes, I could be like, yep, it could show up there. If it's a state of play, I hope not. I hope not for Square's sake. Like, I just don't. It should be bigger than that. That like, yeah. I mean, yeah, especially for Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, like they could do something like on its own or like at D23, right? Especially this year because like here's the thing. I'm not trying to make this the Kingdom Hearts 4 show. But if I had to like bet money on something, if for some reason it doesn't show up at Summer Game Fest, I 100% think we're getting the Star Wars trailer this year because Star Wars Celebration is in Japan. It's 100% happening at Star Wars Celebration. Like, we might get a trailer showing off stuff at Summer Game Fest. I would be dumbfounded if we do not get the Star Wars trailer at Star Wars Celebration this year.
Yeah. I mean that tracks
that's
to
like
me.
that's like my stamp bet, like confident type deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it honestly just comes down to the fact that the time's not right for any of those kind of announcements,
Yeah.
right? Like I think, Square's kind of first half of the year is already filled out. We know what those games are. A lot of it is kind of leaning more in the Nintendo direction. And so we saw stuff at the Nintendo Direct. They had a presence there, had a couple things to show. And I think they're just not going to have any kind of like big news announcement until like the summer season when it's time for hyping up the holidays or the following year.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, would have been cool. Like, there's always the chance they could have had some random remaster to drop and be like, "Oh, we're bringing back this other Saga title or this other
like Vagrant
you know,
Story or
sure."
like
There's always the kind of hope for that. To this day we are still getting all the people never giving up on Chrono Trigger remake. That could happen at some point.
Brave Fencer would be great.
Yeah, so
And like a State of Play would be a solid place for that.
Yeah, I think if there was anything to announce like at this particular show, that would have made sense, but I guess they just don't have anything in the tank for that right now. So,
nope. Cool. Alrighty. Well, that's everything from the State of Play. I didn't expect us to go this long, but we just kind of kept going.
we're also just like, I think we're in the right degree of, we're not like dead tired, we're passing out, but we're tired enough that we're just kind of like, yeah, exactly.
We're in the
just
loopy
talking.
level of tired. I know I am right now. I'm just like, but yeah, no, that was some good conversation despite our exhaustion levels right now. But overall, again, great State of Play. I'm curious when we're going to get this first party Nintendo Direct, which is now starting to be rumored for like, late February, early March. I probably would bet my money more on March time.
If there is one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So like there's this one insider I follow that said that there's going to be a direct before the June one.
Sure.
That happens every year. So like a proper first party one. So, obviously that's an insider.
Great assault
Insiders can be wrong, but normally when they say things, they have it on good authority. So we'll see.
We'll see.
But, yep. Kevin, do you have anything for the people before we dip out?
Nah, man, I gotta edit this and then go memes.
I heard that. All right, everybody, you can follow me on socials at CamFinalMix, and you can follow Kevin on socials at Kevin Kenson. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode, and until next time, we'll catch you later.
Later.